Hey everybody, nobody's here. That's cool. There we go. Somebody's here. Prodigal Hegelian. Woo! Thanks for being here, everybody. About to get the show started, so don't freak out, okay? It's going to be a podcast primarily, a live stream secondarily. But you are valuable and important. But we're going to do it. We're going to talk about the news. We're going to do some deconstruction, some analysis, some crazy things going on in the world that we never thought was possible. And we hope you enjoy. Make sure to head on over to CanaryCry.Party. You can find all the links to all sorts of resources, including all of our broadcast locations, but all sorts of other stuff. Just get involved, man. Go start clicking around. Click on links. Join up. And again, just a little heads up about the supply drop promo that we are running to the end of March. But don't wait. If you sign up before then, we will send you the Canary Cry Multiverse Codex Codebreaker ARG podcast companion game. It's so fun. It's going to get started here pretty soon. And if you're thinking, oh, I know what to do, I'm going to wait until the very last moment, then I'm going to sign up and get the book for free. You could do that, but you're going to miss like 2 months worth of the clues. So you'll get the book, but you want to do this as soon as you can, which is why we'll be sending out the Codebreaker books ASAP to the new people who sign up. Go check it out. It's very important that you do that. We need to make available some lists and some pictures of the current Canary Cry supply drop because it's awesome. People are loving it. Lots of great things to say. And if you sign up for it now, we'll send you the Multiverse Communications Department Codex, Codebreaker game, podcast companion. Go to CanaryCry.Supply.com. Okay, I think we're going to get the show started. Yeah, let's do it. Okay, stay hydrated.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy. You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is April 25th, 2022. This is episode 476. We are live to tape, baby. And today, Sea Beast Smart. Razzle dazzle, I'm your best buddy Basil.
And my name is Gonz, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Welcome to the podcast where we bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And it's all about being smart and transparent, Basil.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You are not the most transparent person. I consider you smart, but
I am opaque. I am substantive, extant. You cannot see through me. I'm a human man. Am I but a man of flesh and bone?
Maybe not. Maybe you're just wires and algos.
Oh my gosh. Really done it. Okay, so what is this tease? What do you want from me, Gonz?
What are we talking about today?
I don't know. You said transparency and stuff. I thought you had like a whole thing.
Smart, being transparent and smart. Yeah, that's just a setup for a lot of the stories. Everything has a theme. As I've said it before, but I'll say it again. I know we have new listeners all the time. There are some themes that we've picked up on the show. One of them is transparency. The part of the Great Reset is this idea of making everything more transparent, but controlled transparency. We'll talk about that. And then
the illusion of transparency.
And then a lot of times when we put episodes together, we're gathering stories from the last few days or whatever it may be, and then themes pop up that just repeat itself over and over again. And this idea of smart something, smart technology, smart whatever, popped up a few times. So yeah, being smart, being transparent. Okay. That was the setup.
Sounds good. Yeah. Love it. Well, we got a whole bunch of stories for you, folks. We're going to get right into them. But if you're wondering what you are in store for, of course, we're going to be catching up with the Elon man. Mm-hmm. Of course, some beast system and alien news. Flippy's going to pop in, say hello. Some Ukraine updates and how that is connecting, how it's weaseling its way, how the web is expanding to include global movements like climate change, things like that. Of course, after the first break, we're going to kick YouTube off the live stream, so you have to find somewhere else to watch the live broadcast. But then we'll be talking about COVID, the vaccine, and more vaccine, and the Pfizer's. A lot of things going on. And then, of course, at the end of the show, space lasers and Antarctica. So stick around. We're getting into the lead story now, guys.
All right. Here we go.
You are already sort of a cybernetic symbiote. Neural nets are taking over from regular programming. So you are connected.
You're connected. I'm connected. He's connected. It's connected.
We're all connected.
Independent.co.uk with the headline here. What happened to the headline? Where's the hell? There it is. Twitter expected to accept Elon Musk's bid to buy company. It's happening.
Yes. It's happening. And actually, Gonz, I have an update for you. This has been a rapidly developing story today on April 5th?
Monday, the 25th.
I think I may have said the wrong thing in the opening. Or at least my file is incorrectly named now. But yes, the story. This is another theme of today. Every story we were bringing to the show is being updated like by the minute. Yeah. So I popped a link in there for you, Gonz. This is from nydailynews.com. Not the most reliable thing, but we can confirm in other places. The headline is Elon Musk buys Twitter for almost $44 billion. And it opens up by saying Elon Musk is the new owner of Twitter.
Wow.
Tesla CEO announced Monday that he has acquired the social media platform at his offer price of $54.20 a share, or about $44 billion in total, and plans to take the site private. Quote, free speech is the bedrock of a functioning democracy, and Twitter is the digital town square where matters vital to the future of humanity are debated. Musk said in a statement, quote, I also want to make Twitter better than ever by enhancing the product with new features, making the algorithms open source to increase trust, defeating the spam bots, and authenticating all humans. That I do not like. Twitter has tremendous potential. I look forward to working with the company and the community of users to unlock it. Parag Agrawal, the Twitter CEO who took over for founder Jack Dorsey in November, said he was, quote, deeply proud of our teams and inspired by the work that has never been more important. Blah, a little bit of a change of tone there for Parag, who instituted the poison pill to keep Elon out. And now that Elon's his new boss, he's like, oh, I'm just so proud. We're doing such a good job. Quote, Twitter has a purpose and relevance, and who cares? But that one little line there, wants to authenticate all humans, I think is an interesting little twist. Because as we've been exploring, oh my gosh, just pretty much every category of news over the past 2 years, whether it's, about COVID or the lockdown or the pandemic or ESG, the Great Reset, globalization, the anti-globalization, everything tends to point towards this authenticating all humans. We talk about digital ID, talking about vaccine passports, talking about blockchain, and all these things. Yeah, and now Elon Musk, after he sort of played this space cowboy role, a rogue, billionaire fighting for free speech, and says right in a statement, we want to work with authenticating all humans. What if Twitter can do what the vaccine passport, monolithic elite substructure of society could not do, which is get people to agree to a digital ID. Now, not through vaccine passports, but through Twitter.
Well, that's what's really interesting, because all the talk right now is that authenticating humans can be done using effectively the Lightning Network, I think, the Bitcoin Lightning Network, which is sort of a layer 2 thing that allows you to transfer Bitcoin, little bits of Bitcoin, Satoshis, for much cheaper and quicker and faster. And you need a human to authenticate a verification or a transaction. So
it's so old school, Gonz.
I know, but that's what people are
said,
talking about right now. And if you do that, they're saying do that, and then you can orange check mark your account or whatever and declare yourself a human, which great, but also now isn't your address like public to anyone?
Well, sure. I mean, you're getting into some pretty deep esoteric blockchain technology aspects of this, which is true. Esoteric. I just think that, there's to maybe broaden the scope a little bit for perhaps people who aren't so familiar with Bitcoin blockchain technology. I'm trying to force feed the education here. I'm just talk and you're
about
doing
it,
a great job.
and then people have to pick up on the concepts.
No, certainly people know more about blockchain technology thanks to your forcing it down their throats, which I appreciate. But I do want to make another connection, another connection for you. His whole thing was free speech.
Yes.
And now it's authenticate human. So it looks like the key to the free speech problem, is kind of antithetical to what the internet was. And there's certainly lots of people wishes it will stay, which is partially anonymous, and that's kind of what has, facilitated a lot of what some might call hate speech, or just junk posting or harassment or whatever.
Whatever.
Usually, no, I'm talking about humans. Like the bad behavior on the internet is facilitated by anonymity, or at least some sort of version of anonymity. Yeah. And so when he's saying, oh, we're going to get rid of the bots, we're going to fix the thing, the algorithms are going to be open source, we're going to authenticate all humans, and free speech. So on one hand, he is supporting the free speech, but it's in the context of you can no longer hide who you are.
Well, that's
if you're going to have free speech, everybody needs to know who you are. So you don't get to hide your horrible words or whatever.
Sure. Well, two things to that. One, I think Twitter, no matter what egg account you are, I think if Twitter really wanted to find out who you are, they could. Number two, like beforehand, I'm talking like before all this Elon stuff gets implemented. Like right now, if there's an anonymous Twitter account posting stuff, if whoever wanted to find out exactly who they were, they could probably do that.
Maybe, yeah, but you could also have a bot.
Well, that's part of the reason why they're getting rid of the bots,
a bot
right?
to whoever you want,
right? Or at least making the bot part transparent. I think is part of his plan. Like you will know when you are interacting with the bot on Twitter much more transparently than you do now. That's part of his whole thing.
I'm just saying to your point that like they could figure out who you are anyways. Like yes, that is how the internet works. Anybody could, if you go deep enough, you know how to do it. You could find somebody's exact location, but you could also spoof that.
Right.
Like I could be running a bot that has all the markers that if somebody looked into it, it would be like, oh, it's Gonz. Wow, what horrible things Gonz is saying.
Yeah.
So it doesn't actually authenticate you.
It authenticates the location or the IP.
Yeah, the IP accounts,
of where it's coming from.
Tracking pixels, somebody could spoof you. So this idea of, authenticating humans, and that's what facilitates free speech, is a little bit of a trap because yes, free speech is good, but it's the classic trap that we get in the technocracy,
right? Yeah,
which is you get your free speech when you give up your privacy, and that's the trade that seems to be revealing itself in Elon's statement.
Well, it's been a slippery slope for years. I mean, ever since the internet, really, the tension between the ability to say whatever you want without consequence and the ability to remain anonymous. It was going to be one or the other, right? That's been the whole last 10 years of watching social media develop are we going into a society where nobody is free? You can't say anything, you get banned? Or are we going to go into a society where you can say whatever you want, but there are some trade-offs there. You have to sacrifice some level of anonymity to be able to say whatever you want. So I
guess what's getting me is not like that has been the plan the whole time. We know that.
Yeah.
It's that concept is not revolutionary.
No.
That's like this little trap that he's laid. I mean, Twitter was probably already going to do that.
Yeah.
Twitter's been talking about authenticating humans forever. The idea that bots are like uncontrollable and Twitter can't do anything about it is sort of an illusion. I mean, they could if they wanted to. They just don't really care enough to do it. And this idea that, you're going to have to like put your, I don't know what, I don't think this is what it would be. But for instance, when you're signing up for like a crypto exchange or something and they're doing their KYC,
know your customer.
You got to scan your license, your driver's license.
Yeah.
So, there is a world in which, this authenticating humanness that Elon is talking about here includes something like scanning your license, but it probably won't be. It probably won't be that. It'll be a digital ID.
It'll be a digital ID. It'll be based on more and more of your profile, whether it's biometrics, your eyeball, your fingerprint, whatever it might be. It'll be under the condition of, you get to control that data. You can share it with whoever you want. You get to decide, at least for a little while.
The data's the money. And that's actually the genius part as a businessman for Elon is Twitter is not a successful business. They don't make a lot of money. There's no money to be made in Twitter. That's been their biggest problem for pretty much their entire existence.
Yeah.
That's why
I don't think there was any other buyers. The board probably saw that nobody. They were probably seeing if they can.
Yeah, but this is different. So this is hold on, because who knows about the whole thing? There's still details that are going to have to come out and explain the purchase. But the point is, Twitter is an unprofitable business. It is entirely supported by the backroom deals and investments is what keeps it alive, because it's a very effective social control device. It's a social engineering tool is what it is.
Right.
And so the elites have sort of kept it alive through investments and other things. But if he takes it private, then he doesn't have that support of the financial support of elites in the traditional sense. He'll have his own version of it, but it's all about the data. Authenticating the humans will create a giant treasure trove of authenticated data directly linked to real humans, and that's how Twitter is going to make its money. And it's a genius move, but it's a horrible thing for the world and the internet.
Well, and given the context of Elon's perspective on things, that hey, AI is coming, it's already here. It's unleashing a demon or whatever he said, and the only way to combat it or make sure it doesn't get out of control and take over the world is to effectively merge with it or monitor it or connect it with human brains so that humans can basically monitor or keep AI at bay to a certain extent, or at least that's how he says it, right? So it's kind of crazy to think that this is the direction. I mean, this is like one step in truly creating that hive mind. But let's just hope that none of the things he tries to implement are kind of like his smart summon technology. There's real quick, The Verge here, headline, a Tesla vehicle using smart summon appears to crash into a $3.5 million private jet. So there's a video.
So smart summon, for those who don't know, is kind of the thing where you press a button and your Tesla will like come to you, like if you parked it
like Batman, the Batmobile.
Exactly, like the Batmobile. If you parked it like way far out in the parking lot and it's raining, you can press the button and it will automatically leave the parking spot and come pick you up.
Well, just
don't try it around any private jets. Apparently,
apparently it doesn't pick up on it. So that's the kind of technology Elon's got rolling out there. But I think this is interesting, the whole Twitter takeover in the context of what's happening worldwide with social media. Feels like part of the Great Reset is, a bunch of musical chairs taking place, people trying to find seats, trade seats, or, put into place different laws and different things going on. This is MSN mirroring CNBC, and the headline is EU agrees on landmark law aimed at forcing big tech firms to tackle illegal content. So we have Elon verifying humans on Twitter over here, and then in the EU we have this new deal. It's called the Digital Service Act. It's a landmark piece of legislation where will require big tech firms to quickly rid their platforms of illegal content, and failure to comply with the rules may result in fines of up to 6% of companies' global annual revenues. which is kind of like, whoa, man.
It's a very big fine.
That's huge. So part of the details here, just briefly, the key part of the legislation would limit how digital giants target users with online ads. The DSA would effectively stop platforms from targeting users with algorithms using data based on their gender, race, or religion. Targeting children with ads will also be prohibited. And I thought, that doesn't sound like a bad thing, does it? I mean, they're not.
No,
they're not allowed to do.
That's the point.
Yeah, so I'm like, far, I'm like, okay, all right, that's good. They also talk about so-called dark patterns, deceptive tactics designed to push people towards certain products and services will be banned as well. So it's kind of like a dark pattern. So if someone's pro-Trump is doing a Trump marketing campaign, is that going to be considered dark patterns of deceptive tactics designed to push people towards a certain product? And then it gets even more troublesome here. Tech companies will be required to implement new procedures designed to take down illegal material, such as hate speech, incitement to terrorism, and child sex abuse. E-commerce marketplaces like Amazon must also prevent sales of illegal goods under the new rules, which is like, okay, that's already illegal, so all right. The law includes measures compelling tech giants to be more transparent. Oh, where's my bell? There it is. About the algorithms they use to recommend content to users. And on that point,
which is what Elon is already claiming he wants to do with Twitter.
Exactly. So this is a worldwide social media technocracy reset, you know?
Yeah.
And as part of this conversation, Obama is in the news last few days. Obama calls for tech regulation to combat disinformation on social media. And you think, okay, you know, your typical Obama take here, progressive, whatever. But he's actually pushing for reforms of Section 230. And Section 230 is what allowed the internet to flourish in the 90s and all this kind of stuff, to allow platforms to not be responsible for all the content that gets published there. But of course, you know, platforms like Twitter have sort of abused that the double standard, so to speak, of being an editor and a publisher. Protections, yeah. So Obama says here, the very design of this is Obama talking, the very design of these platforms seems to be tilting us in the wrong direction, Obama said at a Stanford Cyber Policy Center event. And then later he says, I might never have been elected president if it wasn't for websites like, and I'm dating myself, MySpace, Meetup, and Facebook that allowed an army of young volunteers to organize, raise money, spread our message, Obama said. That's what elected me. So he's basically saying like he understands what the importance of the internet when it comes to social movement. And then he said Congress should consider reforms to the law and that platforms should, quote, be required to have a higher standard of care when it comes to advertising on their website. Ding, ding, ding. Same thing as the EU. Quote, if properly structured, regulation can promote competition and keep incumbents from freezing out new innovators, end quote. The problem is we often don't know what principles govern those decisions. So Obama advocated for, guess what it is, Basil?
What?
Increased transparency around the design of tech platforms, like the concept to a proprietary meatpacking method.
Right. So
it goes on. Yeah, there's a couple more things. But yeah,
I'm actually not as surprised as you are to hear Obama say this. And I'll tell you why. Because we've been scoping out, we've been tracking the trend of government versus big business.
Right.
And we've seen recently, big business, specifically tech companies, become as unto their own nation state.
Yes.
We've talked about the future of no nations, or at least your geographical belonging to a nation is like the least important identifying factor to you. It's more about your usership, your citizen. What tech company has your citizenship?
Right.
And that's not even just metaphorical anymore.
No, it's not.
That's literal. Like, we've got movements and laws on the books where large corporations can start their own town with their own law enforcement and their own hospitals and their the legislation in Nevada, I believe Wyoming has something similar. And And we've been tracking, of course, data being the new oil. The most valuable resource in the world is no longer controlled through international geopolitical deals, but rather international tech corporations gathering up all the data and then sort of wielding it in what would traditionally be called, a political way, in the same way a government would. Mm-hmm. And we've tracked for a few years now the battle between big business and government. And it's also, the one part where it gets a little twisty-turvy for me is Great Reset, which is talking about, they're trying to make corporations the stakeholders of capitalism, of government, of. Mm-hmm. So really, when I see Obama and the EU, traditional kind of semi-old world positions as politicians or organizations fighting to really hamstring tech corporations.
Yeah, with words.
Well, with laws. And this is really more than anything.
Which are words
on paper. Next salvo, the next battlefield, the next sort of big blow in the almost literal war between tech companies and the power they wield and traditional governments. Traditional governments holding on to power as tightly as they possibly can, while tech corporations slowly erode that power. And I think we're seeing a big sort of strategic move for traditional governments to maintain the power that they love so dearly.
Yeah, or at least if they're going to allow the big tech to flourish or continue to flourish.
They got to bend the knee.
There's got to be some kind of trade-off, right? There's some compromise being made. So, yep.
They need to submit. That's what it is. Yeah. This is like Obama and the EU rolling up a newspaper and threatening, Mark Zuckerberg.
Right.
To get in line, sit down, be a good dog, or else.
Yep. And I
or else we'll put you in front of Congress again and make you look like a weird robot.
Yeah, the cyber pandemic aspect of this too. It feels like that's the sort of the last big hurrah. Like once all the regulation and the technology and everything is in place, then they can flip the switch and shut everything down, because then all the infrastructure flips over to whatever they're resetting to.
Well, and that's why the cyber pandemic, Klaus Schwab's cyber pandemic,
big plan,
was more of a threat than a warning.
Right.
It was not him saying like, "Ooh, watch out, a cyber pandemic will get you." It was, watch out, big tech, because if you don't get in line, a cyber pandemic can take it all down.
To your point about, looking at the emerging technocracy here and how it's a little bit less contingent on geographical locations, more so on perhaps ideology or whatnot. There's an added variable to this whole possibility of a weird end times development. And that includes the beast system and aliens.
Speaking of the beast system, beast system.
Aliens. All right, this is the DailyMail.co.uk. Headline: The truth is down there. Harvard scientist wants to launch an investigation into meteor at bottom of the Pacific Ocean, which he believes is actually alien technology.
Okay.
Yeah.
This guy trying to sell a book or something?
Controversial Harvard scientist says he wants to launch an investigation into the meteor that he believes is actually alien technology lying at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. Last week, the U.S. Space Command confirmed that the meteor had hit Earth in January 2014. That hit Earth on January 14 did come from another solar system and is therefore the first known interstellar object. U.S. Space Command officials said that the meteor, measuring just 1.5 feet across, was indeed an interstellar object. Their confirmation means the famous interstellar object known as Oumuamua, discovered in 2017, is actually the second interstellar object to visit our solar system. Demoted. Cool. Kind of like Pluto.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like when Hillary didn't win the presidency.
Mm-hmm. But
she
Harvard,
no longer was the best case scenario. She could be the second female president.
Right. But Harvard physicist Avi Loeb Avi Loeb claimed on Wednesday that the object is instead a piece of alien technology. Avi Loeb is an Israeli. Quote, our discovery of an interstellar meteor heralds a new research frontier, Loeb wrote in the debrief. The fundamental question is whether any interstellar meteor might indicate a composition that is unambiguously artificial in origin. Better still, perhaps some technological components would survive the impact. He suggested scooping up the object from the bottom of the Pacific with a magnet in order to examine the artificial object, and added that retrieving the object would be an opportunity to fulfill a lifelong dream of getting his hands on alien technology. My dream is to press some buttons on a functional piece of equipment that was manufactured outside of Earth.
Wow.
So, okay, it goes on and here and talks about all this stuff, and great.
He's taking it very seriously. He's following his dreams, man. I love it. I love watching people follow their dreams.
He released a book in 2021, Extraterrestrial, the first sign of intelligent life beyond Earth, that argued that Oumuamua is not a comet or asteroid, but a light sail, a method of spacecraft propulsion. All right, so that's the story. There's not like a whole lot to it other than this guy is an Israeli guy, which you can connect it to, biblical prophecy in multiple ways. But this is fascinating because it's a part of a plot line to a show that I've seen in the past called The Travelers. Ever watched The Travelers? I think it was on Netflix or something. Basically, it's the year of 2449. This is the future, and humanity has collapsed. And the only way to save themselves, save humanity, is to travel back in time. It's part of the grand plan, they call it. And they are operating, these future people are operating this thing called the Protocol Omega. And the director, which is like a quantum AI or something that's telling them how to travel back into humans in the now and whatever, the whole deal.
Kind of like a quantum leap type of
Yes. Like when people died on Earth in this timeline, they got like replaced by the people from the future or whatever. Okay, so part of the plot line here, an asteroid designated Helios 685 collided with Earth. That's not the one I'm looking for. Meteor is what I'm looking for. Oh, here we go. In 2068, this is the plot to Travelers. Robert Fraser discovers a new element from a meteorite being vital in superconductors that would eventually build the Director, which is the quantum AI authoritarian master plan person thing. So there you go. I thought that was interesting. And
so you think that's what's down there is the quantum computing
the
overlord?
vital piece for the superconductors that would eventually build a quantum AI? I don't know, but if it is, it'll be interesting that it would originate with an Israeli researcher or physicist. Could that be something that they would consider to be, some kind of ancient godlike technology that they put into the Ark of the Covenant and walk around with and say that this is some kind of ancient relic that represents the origin of humanity or whatever? Yeah. I mean, that's not out of the question.
Fits in with the trend of the soft disclosure that we've been seeing more 100%. And more recently, the increased pace of authorities admitting the possibility.
Right. And I just find it fascinating that in Revelation 13 here, the very first verse, it says, "Then I saw a beast with 10 horns and 7 heads rising out of the sea." It comes out of the ocean, Basil. And there's a lot of interpretive methodology and commentary and stuff that suggests the sea here is in relationship to the many waters mentioned in Revelation 17, and it has to do with peoples, nations, places, tongues, just the world, basically, as an analogy. But if you look at the word, the Greek word there, thalassa, it just literally means the sea in contrast to land. So, I mean, it literally is talking about water, the ocean, whatever. So
the ocean.
It's just, I don't know, man. Maybe there's something to it. Maybe there isn't. But I find it
the great
fascinating.
Sea Beast.
The Sea Beast, which, by the way, I forgot to do this story last episode. Let me just mention it quickly. We're not going to dive into it. But Israel adds Chinese RMB to central bank reserves for first time, cutting USD holdings. And based on my own personal eschatological studies, I think that the Bible teaches that the Mystery Babylon character in the book of Revelation is actually eschatological Jerusalem. So end times Jerusalem, not necessarily like Jerusalem right now, but end times Jerusalem. And part of what they do is what the harlot of the harlot does, is fornicate with kings around the world as part of the sin that it commits. And so I find it interesting that in this time now, Israel, cuts USD holdings. America is the darling of money and guns for Israel, but
it's
now
the reason that Israel exists.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the U.S. And so, to be fornicating now with the yuan.
With the yuan, exactly. Very interesting. So just thought I'd throw that in there. I know it's not part of the whole logic here from alien technology to Israel putting Chinese RMB on the balance sheet, but I think it's all connected. It's all coming together.
It's all coming together.
Well, you know what makes all of this make sense, Gonz? This is a crazy show today, but I get it. You know why?
Why?
Because it's Monday.
Gary, what day is it? Monday.
All that pent up tension from the weekend.
Gary, what day is it? Monday.
Yeah, it's Monday. And Gonz, you know what that means? It means it's time to check in with the Church of Skating.
Oh, I was not. You need to warn me.
I forgot to tell you before the show. Da-na-na-na, da-na.
Howdy, partner.
Do you even?
You even skate, bro. Well, Gonz, skating is catching on, man. I don't want to say that it's all my fault, but it does seem strange that everything that we sort of begin to obsess about on this show ends up becoming the most popular thing to talk about on the internet. I'm not going to say it's because of us, but I'm just saying it's weird, man. Everybody's talking about skating
patterns. Very well.
Well, and in this case, the pattern is that I just started skating a lot and discovering the secrets, dark world, the dark underworld of people who roller skate. So yes, I did hit the rink last night. It was great. I got there late, so I didn't get to go for as long as I wanted. I practiced some of my backwards skating, practiced some of my speed skating. It was weird. They had a new DJ at the skate rink last night, so he wasn't finishing songs, which is weird.
Yeah.
And this is the one little tidbit that I want to bring to the to the knowledge base of those who might be considering starting roller skating or blading, or just are interested in sort of a scholarly manner. This DJ would not finish a single song. He would cut every song short and move into another song.
It's the way it's done now, these DJs.
Oh, this is not cool, man. And this was sort of creating a strange, frenetic anxiety with all the skaters.
Well, once people get into the groove, he switches it up.
Yeah, it's just like, well, it's more like there's no sense of finality.
Finality.
Usually you do the whole song, you get into the groove, you follow it all the way out, and then you're good. You get some laps in, the next song is there. But he would not finish a single song, buddy. And I'm telling you, about 45 minutes in, I was starting to go bonkers. It was like some crazy MK Ultra mind control strategy where there was no satisfaction.
You clearly identified the intelligent agent to come disrupt your evening.
That's right.
Yeah.
And they heard that I was back in the rink, and they're like, "Okay,
we need to
time to switch out assets.
Right.
Let's get the what do they call them? I don't know. Let's get the comptroller in there." So that was crazy, and I noticed everybody else was having a huge reaction to that as well. I am getting better at skating backwards. More compliments. I'm telling you, want compliments at a skate rink, just fall on your butt 1,000 times trying to skate backwards. Suddenly, you're the belle of the ball, baby. So there's a little tip for everybody else out there trying to infiltrate this church of skating.
Sounds good.
One last update, just personal update. There was the debacle where I washed one of my show shirts, my white shirts, with a pair of red sweatpants, and now it's a pink shirt. You know those garage rags? You can buy them like 100 at a time at Home Depot.
Yeah.
Red, just kind of junky rags that you use for oil. Well, I washed all of my white shirts last night and white towels, and somehow a little garage rag got in there. Now I my entire collection of shirts is pink shirts and pink towels. So
I thought you were going to say it's got a grungy, like pink grunge. No.
Well, yeah, it kind of turned out a little tie-dye sometimes.
Okay, there you go.
So there you go. I'm just own pink everything now against my own will.
Well, sounds good. Well, my only update is I am severely sleep deprived. That's it. Baby gets up.
You hate to hear that, Bob.
Baby decided the last 2 nights that midnight was right about the time that, the terrifying things are happening, I guess. Because it's a cry that's unlike. I hope he's okay. It didn't seem like anything was wrong, but give him a little milk, he's fine. But man, it was like, ugh.
Those tummy problems, man, they'll get you in the middle of the night.
Or he's growing, and he's like, I want to stay a baby.
I want to be little.
I don't want to grow up in this crazy Nephilim world.
I don't want to be like my dad. I want to be tiny forever. It doesn't seem very fun to be an adult.
Yeah.
Stay young forever, kids.
Yeah, that's true. Hold on to it.
Well, speaking of which, Gonz, it's time to thank some executive producers.
Executive producers.
That's right. We're on the value for value model, people. We create the value. If you get any value, put some back in. And those who do are called producers. It's our way of, especially nowadays, it's where even Twitter can't make any money without gathering and selling your eyeballs and your attention. Same for us. It doesn't feel right for us to gain your trust and attention, turn around, sell it to corporations for our own personal gain. No corporate money, folks. And the benefit is no corporate influence in your independent media. And if that's something that you want to preserve, something you want to see continue into the future, it is up to us, only the people. Can do the things that the corporations wish they had a monopoly on, including keeping independent media going. Now, here's the thing. We like to thank our producers, especially our executive producers at the top of the show here. And we're back, baby. We're back to no executive producers.
No.
Executive producer.
Now we understand it's the ups and the downs of the value for value model. This is the life we've chosen, Gonz, to not rely on the stability of the lizard financial overlords to keep independent media going. Yeah. And so we've chose this life, and we must live it now. But it is up to you, dear listener, to become a producer and to produce the show, support the show, put value into the show, because if you get value out of it, the only answer is to put some value back in. And not only will that keep the wheel of value spinning for yourself, but you're also providing value for thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people all around the world who are relying on our producers to keep the show going. So it's not too late. If there's anybody out there who's been thinking about producing, they've been feeling the value, they are filled up to the brim with value from the show, and they have not produced the show yet, today's a great day to consider doing that. You can do that by heading on over to CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
CanaryCry.Radio.com/support.
All right. And with that, Gonz, you know who also keeps us on a roller coaster of faith?
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right. It's Flippy. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use talking about Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways the robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update is a little bit more of a clip. It's video, and it's over here on independent.co.uk, owned by the son of a Russian oligarch, or KGB agent, rather.
The
headline,
former KGB and oligarch.
That's right.
Yeah.
Both.
Yeah.
It's a very decorated individual. The headline is Robot Rats Invented to Search for Survivors at Disaster Sites. Researchers have developed a rat in the shape of a robot. What? Gonz, a little switcheroo for you there. You thought it was going to be a robot in the shape of a rat. But no, this is a rat in the shape of a robot that could soon be used to help search for survivors at disaster sites. The tiny rescuer named Squirrow.
Oh, horrible
Squirrow.
name. That is a terrible name for this thing.
Squirrow. It sounds like squirrel, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's
this
the
is
shape
like the
of a
hardest.
rat. Why not make it in the shape of a rat? Why not make it
Squirrel?
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, right. Squirrow. And Squirrow, that's SQURO, by the way.
Yeah.
Stands for small-sized quadruped robotic rat.
I don't see the.
So Squirrow means rat, okay? Don't ask
Okay.
questions, Gonz.
All right.
Again, it's all part of the double think mind control. You
But
can't
it's a
trust
rat. It's not a rat.
It's not a rat. It's a
a
robot.
rat, though.
But it's named Squirrow. So it's a squirrel? No, it's a rat.
It's an old Asian
Wait, I thought
man
it was a
trying to
robot.
say squirrel. Squirrel. What is this robot? A squirrel.
It's a
But it's a
squirrel.
rat. But no, it's called squirrel.
It sounds like, it sounds like something the way your mom would pronounce it or something.
My horrible ugly uncle would say that.
Yes, of course.
Yell at us about how the.
It continues.
Yeah. Okay.
Squirrow has been created by a team at the Beijing Institute of Technology in China. The robot's small size means it could easily be able to fit through narrow spaces and navigate a variety of terrains and even pick itself back up after being knocked down. You can't keep this Squirrow down, folks. He'll get right back up. The determination, the
love the video
human
here.
spirit is beautiful.
This is something to behold. You have to see this if you're just listening. Just go to Canary Cry News Talk, look for the Flippy update, and click on the link there, and it'll take you to the independent.co.uk. And just watch the video because, it's just what you would expect, a robot, rat, or whatever walking around. But they do this whole kind of sequence towards the end where it's kind of walking through some bushes. It's crawling up a little thing. It goes into a pipe or something. And then it shows him poking his head out of the pipe. And he knocks another guy over.
Another rat. Battle rats.
Battle rats.
Welcome to Battle Rats. And I find this robot so hilarious because it didn't need to look so much like a rat. I mean, when they say it looks like a rat, it looks like a rat. Like, it's not a small robot that you could of allegorically say is in the shape of a rat. They give it a little rat head.
Yeah, plastic carved out rat head. Yeah,
rat tail, which the head and the tail. It's got to. I mean, what is the point, guys?
The other thing that I don't like about this is that it's made to help search for survivors at disaster sites.
Yeah, that's just what you want to see crawling through the rubble when you're trapped under a concrete block after an earthquake. Is an actual rat-looking rat robot. Why not make him like a tiny sort of handsome firefighter? I think people would be much more excited.
Yeah, that is a good point. The psychology of being discovered by what? What do you want to be? If you're lost under some rubble, you wouldn't want this rat thing to come find you.
You don't want an actual rat-looking thing. You want Elon to come down. A handsome sort of shirtless firefighter comes in.
I found you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you are.
There you go.
So there you go. I mean, look, we just had to talk about Squirrow, okay? I don't know if I have
here's the other point is that
thing for you.
Following, helping search survivors at disaster sites out of China, it's almost like saying, okay, we're going to have some more disasters. We're gonna create those disasters, and then can you imagine the glee of the scientist that invents this Squirrow thing, or the team, or whoever that gets to unleash an army of Squirrow whenever there's a disaster? Like, oh, finally,
go, my children! I'm the Rat King. Rescue my brethren,
fellow humans.
I mean, it is funny because the recent movie, what was it? Suicide Squad 2. They made another one. It actually way better than the first one. It's an okay film if you're into that kind of thing. One of the superpowers of the heroes is that she can control rats, and it's more or less useless most of the movie until, of course, at the end it comes in handy.
Yeah.
But I mean, hello, why would this man or woman, I have no idea, make it so lifelike? I mean, just not even lifelike,
There's
rat-like.
probably some backstory where he's
So unnecessary.
He got attacked by a rat or something, and this is him overcoming his fear of rats.
Or maybe like he grew up in Beijing, so maybe he was like a poor child, living in one of those dog kennels on the streets with his family or whatever, and his only friends were rats. And then when things got tough, they had to eat the rats.
Right.
So he's been trying to get back
to
recreate his best friend.
Justice to the rat tribe.
Yeah, exactly. So all you got to do is put some fur on this thing, and people will be putting out traps. Like, that's how rat-like it is.
It's backfiring. Half of our rats half of our squirrels keep getting caught in human traps. All right.
That's got to be the only reason he even made it look somewhat like a robot.
Somewhat robotic. Yeah, that's true.
He's like, please don't kill my friend again. All right, that's it. That's the flip.
FLIPPY 1133. Uploading binary code. Execute order 666. Infiltrate humans with extreme kindness. Then exterminate all humans with prejudice. Exterminate.
CanaryCry.Party. Don't exterminate that. Find the live stream, find the clips, email list, text notifications, street team posters, show notes, ways to connect with other Canarians, and how to become a producer.
Yes. Go do it. It's got everything you want. And while you're at it, go ahead and go check out Ravel. New podcast episode for Ravel dropped yesterday. Ravel is another show that I do, exploring society, scripture, and scandal with Dr. Christopher Ryan Gates, PhD in biblical interpretation. And we went back to our roots, Gonz, on the episode that just dropped. We do a teen study Bible study. Where we have gotten our hands on an old version of the Teen Study Bible published in 1993. If you're a millennial Christian, if you were raised in the church as a millennial or older Gen Z, you'll remember the Teen Study Bible fondly. It was your primary text of your theology for so long. And we have some fun. We have some fun with it, and you're going to love it. If you're a millennial, you will have so much nostalgia. If you are a boomer, you will be given a window into what it was like to be a young Christian teen in the 90s. We'll continue to pepper these episodes throughout the history of mankind, but go check it out. It's really fun. Search Ravel on whatever podcast player you use, except for Stitcher for some reason. And there you go. There's 2 Ravel podcasts. The other one stole our name explicitly, but mine's the cool one with the cool logo and my name on it. While you're at it, go subscribe to the Canary Cry Clips channel if you want clips of the show, and also text the word Canary to 877-740-3226. I just did that from memory. Did I do it right? That's 877-740-3226. Text right. Canary. You will get text messages from me. I write them myself. And so if you want messages from me, there you go. That's a fun way to do it. If you don't want them, Gonz does it. So and then we'll just send you alerts when we go live and when there's other cool stuff to let you know about. There you go. Do that.
Fight for Ukraine. New world order.
Reuters. Do you want me to take this? Okay, Reuters.
Yeah, I'm doing the next part, unless you want me to just do the whole thing.
No, it's fine. Brussels prepares to hit Russia with smart sanctions on oil imports, the Times says. This is short. It'll be quick. The European Union is preparing smart sanctions against Russian oil imports. The Times reported on Monday, citing the...
I love the distinction.
Yeah.
None of those dumb sanctions, that we've seen so far. No, these are different. Don't worry.
Smart sanctions. Citing the European Commission's Executive Vice President Valdis Dombrovskis, quote, "We are working on a 6th sanctions package, and one of the issues we are considering is some form of an oil embargo, where we are imposing sanctions. When we are imposing sanctions, we need to do so in a way that maximizes pressure on Russia while minimizing collateral damage on ourselves," Dombrovsky told the Times, which is a hilarious admission of, oh yeah, every time we do that, we're kind of hurting ourselves.
We're hurting ourselves more than anybody else. Yeah. It's almost like the point is not to help us, it's to sort of further some sort of dark agenda worldwide.
It's not about Russia. It's about messing up our own thing so we can hit the reset button.
To subjugate all the lower classes while the upper financial classes continue to thrive and control the rest of us. That's more what it's about.
He said that precise details of the oil sanctions had not yet been agreed. Okay, but could include a gradual phasing out of Russian oil or imposing tariffs on exports beyond a certain price cap, the newspaper reported. Russia is Europe's biggest oil supplier, providing 26% of EU imported oil in 2020. Europe gets roughly a third of its gross available energy from oil and petroleum products in sectors from transportation to chemical production. Ukraine and some EU states, including Poland and Lithuania, want a ban on Russian oil and gas, whereas Germany and Hungary are opposed to an immediate oil embargo. Oil and oil products made up more than a third of Moscow's export revenue last year. Currently, Europe spends around $450 million per day on Russian crude oil and refined products, around $400 million per day for gas, and roughly $25 million for coal, according to think tank Bruegel. So there it is. Smart sanctions as opposed to not smart sanctions.
Well, and in response, Gonzo, I'm over here at Bloomberg. The headline, Russia's war is turbocharging the world's addiction to coal.
Turbocharging.
Whoa. They actually changed this headline, and I was so bummed that I didn't
screenshot the old one.
Screenshot it, because the old one, it was something like, Putin is something crazy. It was like, Putin is aiding the world's dirtiest, most deadly fossil fuel or something. It was just like out of control. But they changed it to Russia's war is turbocharging the world's addiction to coal. In Germany and Italy, coal-fired power plants that were once decommissioned are now being considered for a second life. In South Africa, more coal-laden ships are embarking on what's typically a quiet route around the Cape of Good Hope towards Europe. Coal burning in the U.S. is in the midst of its biggest revival in a decade, while China is reopening shuttered mines and planning new ones. The world's addiction to coal, a fuel many thought would soon be on the way out, is now stronger than ever. Coal is so swole.
Am I speaking of conspiracy theories when I say that a lot of what the coal industry does now, it's like a lot cleaner and
that's the talking points. I don't really know. It's not like one of my biggest things I focus on.
Yeah, there's a talking point that I've heard a lot.
And here's the irony. Let me give you the breakdown in a second. Let me give you a couple more paragraphs. Demand has been on the rise since last year amid a natural gas shortage and as electricity use surged. After the pandemic restrictions were rolled back, or perhaps after everybody getting electric cars because you want to save the earth. Yeah. But Russia's invasion of Ukraine turbocharged the coal market, setting off a domino effect that's leaving power producers scrambling for supply and pushing prices to record levels. The boom in the world's dirtiest fossil fuel has huge implications for the global economy. The higher prices will continue to feed into rising inflation. Oh, again, it's Putin is making inflation happen.
I really hate this because
it's so
no matter,
bad.
It's funny
worse,
because we've identified certain things that the mainstream continue to lie about, and this is one of the big ones recently, where it's like, no, inflation is not because of Putin.
Oh, it's all Putin. And so is coal. Coal's all Putin too. The higher prices will continue to feed into rising inflation, but even with the recent surge, analysts say that coal is still one of the relatively cheapest fuels. That's making it more critical for power supplies at a time when coal burning also remains the biggest single obstacle in the battle against climate change.
Climate change.
Meanwhile, miners are struggling to dig up any additional tons as utilities around the world keep demanding more, setting the stage for the next phase of the global energy crisis.
We're having a global energy crisis.
We're setting the stage for the next phase of the global energy. There's phases.
The global energy crisis is effectively it would have to be tied to a cyber pandemic in some way.
It was from the dumb sanctions. Remember, now we have smart sanctions. It was the dumb sanctions that created the global energy crisis.
Right.
Quote, when you're trying to balance decarbonization and energy security, everyone knows which one wins. Keeping the lights on, said Steve Holton, Senior Vice President for Coal Markets at market research company Rystad Energy in Sydney. Quote, that's what keeps people in power and stops people from rioting in the streets. Now, when you first read that, you might think like, oh, we're talking about the energy market, what keeps people in power. Okay, so it keeps the lights on. But really, what he said after really gives it away. That's what keeps people in power and stops people from rioting in the streets. What is the biggest threat to people in power, meaning the elite financial classes?
It's people in the streets rebelling.
It's people rioting in the streets. They know that, if a bajillion people decide, hey, wait a second, we don't need to live horrible lives just because of these stupid lizard people playing with our global markets. Let's riot in the streets and take them out of power. No. You say no to climate change. You don't care about climate change, decarbonization, none of that. You keep the lights on and keep the circus and the bread flowing, and you can stay in power. And it goes on, and there's a lot more really awesome details to this whole article. But for time, that pretty much makes the point. And if you remember back in the days of Trump, one of Trump's biggest sort of climate change assassination attempts was coal miners, the coal industry in the U.S., talking about giving more subsidies to coal, allowing more permits for coal mines, supporting the coal mining industry, thus sort of trickling down to the coal miners in Appalachia and around the country that were some of his biggest supporters. That was his thing, clean coal, if you remember, clean coal. We can make coal clean. It's the best. We love coal miners. We love coal. I love coal. and made Greta mad. It made the left mad, made Biden mad. The whole, Democrats were saying he's trying to, suffocate the earth with this coal.
Right.
And is, again, just a beautiful manifestation of the upside down world that we live in. Biden, through his actions, his dumb sanctions, his provoking the war with Russia, his family's involvement in Ukraine, everything Biden has done has accomplished more for the interests that Trump claimed to support than anything Trump could have possibly imagined. People thought Trump was going to start World War III. He didn't. And then Biden did. And in response, people thought Trump was going to fill our skies with coal smoke. He didn't. Biden is doing that. Coal has never had a good of a moment in the history of the world as it does right now under Biden, directly connected to Biden's actions when it comes to provoking the war and his dumb sanctions responding to the war. It's just so poetic. I mean, it could not be any more sort of deliciously, satirically, sarcastically ironic that Biden has done more Trumpy things than Trump could have ever imagined. And it's all thanks to, all the Democrats who voted for him. So technically, if you voted for Biden, you voted for coal, you voted for more immigrants in cages.
if you think about the lizard people,
World War III.
You think about the lizard people pulling the strings, they would do that to fool everybody, right?
It's perfect.
I mean, they're just playing the population right at their fingertips. They're just like, oh yeah, watch this. Watch all these sheep vote for the guy with all doing all the stuff that they hated in the last term or whatever. So
what has it done? Voting for Biden. What has voting for Biden done other than
entertain us for hours on end?
Entertain us, create lots of content
Pop
for
was
us.
a bad dude.
And also accomplish things that Trump could only have dreamed of. Good job, Democrats. You really did it. You changed the world.
Your legacy is stuff like this.
I've ordered more pills than anyone in the world. Armageddon's on the way.
That's right. So, and again, I'm not here to look. That sounded kind of partisan.
Yeah. What are you? Republican? What are you?
No. I'm having fun. I'm having fun here.
All right, okay.
But the point is that the entire political and financial elite classes, they're in on it, and they're really good at it. They're really good at it. This was always the plan. This fake culture war stuff was just to distract all of us. It was to, make it seem like there was some sort of battle going on when there was not. It's simply the elite lizard people who rule the world executing a perfectly planned strategy to get what they want, regardless of the culture war stuff. That's our point. Yes, and let's jump into climate change.
Speaking of those culture wars.
Climate change. Since the beginning of time, man has yearned to destroy the sun. I will do the next best thing. Block it out. Climate change. Climate change. Mass extinction.
Wow, those are some grimy jingles. Yes, and some interesting sort of, frosting on this cake here. This comes from abcnews.go.com. The headline is Man Dies After Setting Himself on Fire Outside Supreme Court Building, officials say. Now, this was one of those stories that was developing as we were setting up the show today.
Yeah.
The article goes like this, and then we can set out our own timeline.
Sure.
Yeah. Because the timeline was weird, but let's just get a little bit of the story. A man died after setting himself on fire outside of the U.S. Supreme Court building in Washington, D.C. on Friday, officials said. The incident occurred around 6:30 p.m. That Friday. That was 3 days ago.
Friday.
Happened. The incident occurred around 6:30 p.m. on the plaza in front of the building. Supreme Court spokesperson Patricia McCabe said in a statement. Supreme Court police, which I did not know existed, but I'm happy to know. Supreme Court Police.
Especially after what happened.
U.S. Capitol Police and D.C. Police responded, and the person was airlifted to an area hospital. D.C. Police said Saturday that the man, identified as Wynn Bruce of Boulder, Colorado, succumbed to his injuries. No one else was injured, according to McCabe. D.C. Police is investigating the death. U.S. Capitol Police, they just said, we tweeted about it.
This was the article I found on Friday after we did the show. I said, oh, wow, this is interesting. Stuck it into my notes and came back to it last night, setting up for the show. And I thought, I wonder if there's any updates. No updates. As of last night. But then today,
no updates starting for 3 days.
Yeah.
And they even say, like, we don't know why he did it.
And we have an update.
Oh my gosh. Sorry about
we
that.
don't know why he did it. We're investigating. We're figuring it out. Don't worry. We'll figure out why this man did it.
Can I just say my gut feeling of what this was? even before we kind of know.
Sure.
So
have you looked into my sources here? Is this a real guess?
This is a real guess, because I almost tweeted this out, and not that anyone cares about my Twitter account, but it was something that sometimes I document stuff, so I know that I said it on a certain time or whatever. I was going to say that we should be more empathetic towards sort of the progressive leftist, the real hardcore people that have gone in that direction with their ideology and their thinking, because they are being so radicalized that they could do something like this, where they light themselves on fire in front of Supreme Court for some kind of protesting thing. But really it's like a mind control thing, where they're being pushed so hard to literally die on the hill of whatever they're being propagandized, that it can lead to something like this. So call out the nonsense, call out the BS, and point to the things that don't make sense or logic or whatever. Have that conversation, but try not to be super harsh, because I think a lot of people are the people that really buy into that stuff are people that are suffering. Not everybody, but I'm saying a lot of the people are.
We've all got
suffering
our
from
own
that
sort of weird, control mechanisms that somebody is pulling our strings.
Yeah, so that's kind of that was my feeling of there was no information out, but my feeling was, wow, if there is anything tied to this sort of woke culture here, then we really should kind of step back and think about how we're treating those people, whatever. So anyway, that's the gut feeling I had before I knew anything.
Does sort of inspire empathy. Now, so there you go. So I was looking into this, even up until this morning, every single article, we don't know why he did it. We don't know why he did it. We don't know why he did it. Sometimes people protest, but I don't know. We don't know why he did it. I'm thinking, obviously, this was some sort of protest. I mean, that's sort of the history of self-immolation. We're all aware of we've all seen the Buddhist monk in Vietnam or wherever it was going on.
Cover of the Rage Against the Machine album.
The protests. Right, exactly. It's sort of a powerful cultural image that we've all seen somewhere. The self-immolation of usually a Buddhist monk.
Right.
But particularly in the context of protest, right?
Yeah.
So I'm kind of thinking, guys, obviously it was some sort of protest. Why are you not saying anything? What are you talking about? You don't know why you did it.
It made me doubt: did somebody light a cigarette and then he got caught on fire? And what? Right. Is that what happened, or what? There was nothing. Right. So anyway,
and it took the whole weekend to say anything about it. Yeah. Now I'm over here on KHOU 11, which is just another article that reported it. And I was because I was reading so many, I'm like, okay, who is saying anything about this? What is anybody saying? Nothing. KHOU 11, where is this? It's a local news station somewhere.
Sounds like a Houston.
Oh, Texas. Houston,
Texas.
Yeah. They were the only one at the time that had a little paragraph that went like this: self-immolation, the act of setting oneself on fire and burning to death, can be a form of protest and has been used to make political statements in the nation's capital in the past. It is unclear whether Friday's incident was intended to be such a protest statement. And then they give some examples. They say in May 2019, a man died after setting himself on fire near the White House. Authorities said 33-year-old Arnav Gupta of Bethesda was seen by passerbys, and talks about his self-immolation, talks about another self-immolation, talks about one in 2004 who burned himself in front of the White House because this one was actually interesting. It's a side point, but I'm going to read it because it's good for the show.
Sentences,
In November 2004, a Yemeni national named Mohammed Alansi set himself on fire outside the White House gate. He had worked as an FBI informant, previously reporting shows, and was upset because he could not travel to Yemen to visit his ailing wife, who had stomach cancer. He also said the FBI had not kept promises it made to him to secure his assistance. Alansi had severe burns on 30% of his body, et cetera, et cetera. So, yes, one of these more recent ones, he was an FBI informant and was kind of one of these things. Of course, we know the FBI is involved in lots of manipulation of people, to get them to do what they want, and oftentimes, setting them up and doing a whole thing. But that's kind of a
entrapment. But it's not, though.
Nobody
ever gets in trouble for any of this.
It's funding. It's the secure funding.
It's how it works. It's the process.
I like this KHOU, I guess is what it is, article, because when nobody was saying anything, they're like, yeah, this guy who was 33 did it once, and then this other guy who was an FBI informant also did it once.
So who is this guy that did
so
it
they're
this
kind of just
time?
like giving a history.
Yeah.
Now, okay, so we're moving on. This is just painting a big picture here for you. Now, again, before any news organization was reporting on the reasons of this, they let it set for 3 days. I was like, okay, let's just like check the Wikipedia. Let me see if I can find any trends in this. And like, so I checked the Wikipedia for immolation, self-immolation, the act of sacrificing oneself by setting oneself on fire, sacrificing being a weird word there, knowing what we know,
yeah, the rituals that take place, yeah.
And exactly. It is typically used for political or religious reasons, often as a form of nonviolent protest. Kind of not really that nonviolent. Wikipedia
violent,
seems
but
like
okay.
actually super violent to burn yourself to death, but okay. Or an act of martyrdom. It has centuries-long recognition as the most extreme form of protest possible by humankind.
Wow.
Whoa, okay, Wikipedia.
All right.
I get it, man.
Okay.
So there's a whole big page, right? I'm like, okay.
Why are we on Wikipedia? We're a legit show here. What's the deal?
That's right. So I go down. I'm thinking, okay, surely they just have like a list of all known self-immolations.
Yeah.
And they do. They got them from all over the world, too. Vietnam, Soviet Bloc, Russian Federation, India, Iran, People's Republic of China, Arab Spring, Taiwan.
Yeah.
Interestingly, Australia, 1st of January, 2022. This year, an Australian man self-immolated to protest the COVID-19 vaccine mandates.
And vaccine IDs. Yeah.
He was later taken to the hospital.
Then
like we get to the United States. And they talk, there's only 2 entries. There's on April 14th, 2018, David Bukel self-immolated in Prospect Park in Brooklyn, etc., etc. And then there's one more entry. Wynn Bruce, a climate activist from Boulder, Colorado, self-immolated. The news wasn't even reporting any of these details, and it's on Wikipedia before the news is reporting it. He self-immolated on the steps of the Supreme Court of the United States on Earth Day, the 22nd of April, 2022. On 28th of March, 2022, he made a Facebook post stating, "This is not humor. It is all about breathing," followed by "Clean air matters." Do I know why they put a Facebook post for March? No, I do not. But literally the moment after I found this Wikipedia, and he's listed on it already.
That's quick.
Of one of 2 self-immolation cases in the U.S. Boom. Everybody started reporting it. They found a friend of his. His friend said, they're Buddhists. He did it as protest for climate change.
50 years old, devout Buddhist. Yeah, Wynn Allen Bruce, 50, appeared to foreshadow his death in 2021 Facebook post. This is independent.co.uk.
So, the reporting, and his friend basically said he's been planning this for a year. He's been talking about it for a year. This does not surprise me. I'm sad he's dead, but, this does not surprise anybody. But the news kept it secret. They did not report it. Nobody reported the details that he did it for climate change. He did it for anything. Most people didn't even know that it happened. And the second Monday comes around, boom, they post it, update all the stories, which I just thought was really weird. And then you pair that with the fact that Biden himself is sort of single-handedly responsible for more coal than has ever been burned, and the smart sanctions from Brussels instead of the dumb sanctions. Like, this actually looks really bad because it's basically, this guy set himself on fire because of Joe Biden. Because of what Joe Biden's doing.
The Independent.
And they kept it secret.
Yeah, the last line of the article from the Indy UK. His death was believed to be one of the first acts of self-immolation since the 1960s when Vietnam War activists set themselves on fire in protest. So they're legitimately saying this is the first time since Vietnam, since we've seen this, which is like, whoa, why aren't more people talking about this?
Easily debunkable, too, because it's not. There was one in 2018.
Yeah, 2018.
David Buckle.
Yeah,
I know.
Maybe it wasn't in protest of war, though. War. They do mention David Buckle here.
David Buckle was he was doing it for fossil fuel reasons too.
All right.
So you have this situation created that we're going to
because he didn't die. The guy didn't die in 2018. Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. So there you go. So there's this really, again, it's not a partisan thing. It's all the elites are in on it. This is not Trump good, Biden bad talk. But what it is wake up. Wake up. They're going to do what they want to do. The climate change activism, the paying lip service, the virtue signaling of the elites, of politicians, of corporations is all to keep the culture war going. And if you're playing into the culture war, we talk about distractions, right? We talk about the distractions. Is this a distraction? Okay, this is weird. What else is going on? What are they hiding? The literal existence of the culture war is the distraction. And it's distracting all of us from the fact that these politicians don't care. They're going to do whatever they want to do. They will start World War III. They will, they will do whatever they need to do to get the plan moving. And even when a Buddhist monk sets himself on fire in front of the Supreme Court building, they're gonna. They don't talk about it.
And he died
for 4 days.
Yeah, and he died. So this should be a bigger deal, and it'll be interesting to see how it gets spun too, because obviously this is. I don't know, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah, I guess either side could use it for their own sort of narratives in terms of the political divide. The pro-climate activists can say, look, we need to do more. Look what's happening to, people. We should fulfill his whatever, the reason why he's protesting. And the other side can say, look at how this nonsense is driving these people crazy. Yeah. So.
Well, and I think that hits the nail on the head, because I'm so astounded that it was so easy to find details on it. And yet nobody reported
on it. Yeah.
So the lack of details, the lack of information being just as manipulative as, whatever other tactic they could have taken, because with the lack of details, anybody can use it however they want. And I'm sure over the weekend, there was groups on all sides of all sorts of, agendas sitting there, figuring out how they could use it for their benefit.
That's what I was going to say. We'll have to see how they spin it.
The sacrifice, again, the word, the sacrificial act. You talk about burnt offerings. You talk about whether they're in the Bible or whether they are sort of occult, cremation of care, Bohemian Grove type things. It's a lot, and I don't claim to have all the answers, but this is something that's just really weird.
No, I can see this being used very much so in pushing a lot, more aggressive climate policy. I mean, this is great material for all these people in DC who were really pushing the climate stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I can picture Bill Gates talking about it.
Climate change.
It's killed people. People are upset. We should block out the sun.
I mean, who knows? We might even see some advertisements for it later, Gonz. Let's take a quick break.
Okay, hold on. Gotta get myself ready for that. For the break. You ready for the break?
I'm ready, baby.
All right, here we go.
Feel ready. So ready.
What?
Feeling good.
There we go.
Oh, you just make me want it now.
Oh my gosh. Now it's running.
Take me away, Gonz.
Oh no.
Take me away in your strong little rat robot arms.
It's break time! Come on, take a break.
There we go. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, folks, but don't go anywhere, because after the break, we're We're going to be checking in on the COVID, the vaccine, the other vaccine, the Pfizers, and of course, space lasers in Antarctica. You don't want to miss that. But before that, stick around, baby, because we want to thank some producers. That's right. I said producers. You may have noticed no advertisements, no affiliate codes, no partnerships with YouTube or Twitch or anything. No corporate money whatsoever. We are entirely funded by the people. Who are the people? You're the people, folks. You're a person, probably, most likely. I'm just
You're
guessing.
not a person
statistically
appearing in the form of a robot.
Yeah, right. A person in the shape of a robot. No, you're a person, and you value independent media, or else you wouldn't be here. And that's the thing. Independent media is more important than ever, but is also at risk more than ever. And when I say independent media, specifically, I mean media that is not wrapped up in the corporate funding structure whatsoever. Because if you're taking corporate money, that means you have corporate interests involved in what you're doing. There's lots of independent media out there, and there's a lot of independent media that takes advertising dollars, which, worse than just having corporations involved, is the concept that they are then incentivized to gather up your time, your attention, your trust, and sell it, package it up in shrink wrap and sell it to advertising corporations and their clients, their evil lizard person clients, where they use your attention and your attention and your attention and your attention and your trust of your favorite podcasters to subtly, psychologically manipulate you into spending money on things you don't have on things you don't need, all for the benefit of corporate lizard overlords. But not here, folks. We're on the value for value model. It's simple. We create value. We do it 3 times a week. And if you get any value out of what we do, it's your turn to put some value back in. It's the only way that it continues. And without the participation of our producers, there is no show. It just does not exist. So we will know when we are no longer of value to anybody, because value will stop coming back to us. And with that, it's time to thank some of our producers, folks. You can head on over to patreon.com/CCNT if you'd like, or even better, CanaryCryRadio.com/support. CanaryCryRadio.com/support. That's right. So many fun ways to support the show. If you're a cryptocurrency person, you can support with your cryptocurrency. If you are somebody who gets value out of the show on a regular basis and you want to just set up a nice set it and forget it monthly producership option, we love that. Those monthly producers really help us get through the hard times around here. Or if commitment is not your thing, you can make a one-time producership in any amount that you like. The freedom. It's incredible. And Gonz, I think it's time we start with thanking our executive producers.
Executive producers.
So quiet. Here it is. That's right. Our executive producers are those producers who make investments in the future of the value they receive, the value the rest of us receive, and just the show in general, and even by extension, independent media as a whole. And still no executive producers for today.
Fail.
Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. Where's the jingle, man?
Oh, you actually want the no. Okay, you want it again.
I mean, it's not about what I want.
Oops.
It's just about how our show works. It's kind of like what the whole thing.
Oh
no. Executive producer.
There it is. Okay, it happens. It happens once in a while, especially when things are weird and times are tough and coal is burning, baby. How can people executive produce when there's coal? I don't know. I was trying to let Greta, my inner Greta, go out, but it wasn't working. Okay. Yep. There you go. As of now, no executive producers. If one comes in, I don't know. I'll straight up stop the show if an executive producer comes in at this point. But that's okay. We have some other producers to thank. Let's check in with the supply drop. That's right, CanaryCry.Supply.com. Go check it out. It's our producer thank you campaign. For those who sign up for $33.33 a month, they will automatically start receiving 4 free shipments of exclusive, never-before-seen, custom-created Canary Cry News Talk gear, including accessories and stickers and printed goods and games, augmented reality games, and survival gear, and just so many cool things. They are arriving as we speak all around the country and the world. Well, that'll take a little longer. And we are currently running the supply drop promo, which is if you sign up for the supply drop before the 31st of May. May. Before the 31st of May, you will receive the Canary Cry Multi-Dimensional Communications Codex. It's an ARG podcast companion. You'll start hearing little secret clues being given throughout the show, and those clues are for our multidimensional communicators, Gonz. We're working to solve a mystery and save the world. But if you sign up for the supply drop, we'll send you the booklet so you can play along with everybody else. And you'll start receiving shipments right after May 31st. That's our next supply drop. People are loving it, man. I got this. I want to read a quick note. I got this from
allowed
Caleb.
To show this picture that accompanied the note?
Yeah, what are you showing?
The picture that accompanied the note that I think you're going to read.
What note? My note.
Yeah.
The note I'm going to read. I have no idea. I did not know there was a picture. I'm not sure if we are talking about the same thing.
We're not.
Okay, sounds good. So this is a note from Caleb T. It says, hey, dudes, just wanted to let you know I just received my first CCNT supply drop, and I love it. You guys nailed it. It's one thing to put out a product like the show for free, and so frequently, it's another thing to go a step beyond and do something like this for the producers. I was quite surprised by the seeds, honestly, yes, and Gonz, I don't know if you have this around you, Gonz, but you could hold things up.
I'm just showing the picture that Jackie Yu sent us. She laid out the stuff on a table, and it's a picture of the supply drop. Yeah.
Great, wonderful. The notes, yes. So they're in this first supply drop, we had a bunch of packets of GMO-free, organic, heirloom, like straight from the garden, capital T, capital G, seeds for survival purposes.
Yeah.
And the art on the seeds was created by Sir Dove, which is very cool.
I like the little factoids on there.
Got little factoids on the seeds. Totally custom job. Super cool. Super stoked on that. So is Caleb T. I'm excited to find a spot in my yard to put them. Also, really love the Monty 33 card. Yes, and in this supply drop, we introduced the Canary Cry trading card game, The Legends of the Canarium. Woo! And that's just for fun. I'm having fun with this, making trading cards for all sorts of the fun characters that have developed in the Canary Cry-averse, and they will be making appearances in the new Canary Cry trading card game, Legends of the Canarium. And Monty 33 was the first card, the first edition run of the whole thing. We've got the whole thing figured out. Those are going to keep coming. Those are very fun. And in true classic first edition print fashion, for those nerds out there who understand what I'm saying, there was a manufacturing error in this first card.
Oh, no.
And so that just means it's going to be even more valuable.
Yeah, I was going to say the ultra rare mistake cards.
Yep, there was only like 200 of them printed, and so they're going to be worth a fortune someday. The note continues. Basil, I think he's just misunderstood too, buddy. You got to get the card to understand that. Much love to you, gentlemen, and I can't wait for Q2. Caleb T. Thank you very much, Caleb T. I'm loving everybody's notes about how much they love the supply drop. Makes me feel good. We really worked hard on it. I worked hard on it, but our producers worked even harder. There's art in there from Allie. There's microfictions from Runk Smash. There's art from Dove. Producer Isaac has been the just best point man in the world, making the whole thing happen. And so yeah, it's really kind of an accomplishment of the whole Canary family, and I'm very happy about it. And that's why y'all should go sign up for the Canary Cry supply drop. Look, I'm not trying to shame anybody here. I will if I have to, but I'm not going to do it yet. I don't want anybody to miss out. It's really a wonderful treasure, and I want as many people as possible to get it. So go to CanaryCry.Supply.com. Click on it. Join it. Click all the boxes. Make sure to check all the boxes when you sign up. And we have a new supply dropper. And that supply dropper is producer Mitch H.
Mitch H.
Mitch
Ooh.
H.
Ooh, is it? Well, I'm not gonna speculate on who that might be. Okay. I think you know, Basil.
I don't know. I don't know actually.
No?
Who's a Mitch H?
A late comedian.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember his name. Why would you not say his name? All the crazy people whose names you put in.
His name was Mitch Hedberg. Remember Mitch Hedberg?
That's right. Yeah. Rice is delicious, especially when you want to eat 10,000 of something.
Hello. I'm getting a note from my daughter. Yes, hello.
Oh, nice.
Thank you.
Okay, so anyways, thank you very much, Mitch H. For he actually upgraded his producership to hit the supply drop. So thank you.
Very cool.
All right, so go to CanaryCry.Supply.com. Go do it. You're going to love it.
Waiting for supply drop.
Okay, we've got babies interrupting the show. I love it. And Gonz, I have a very important update and alert to give you. And he's gone.
Oh, I'm here. What did you say? Sorry.
Very important update and alert.
Yes.
You're going to need to play that executive producer.
Oh, okay. Let's do it. Here we go.
Executive producers.
That's right. This comes from coming in, saving the day, our white knight, or more like our white dame, actually, is Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes.
Dame Lynn.
Executive producer. Thank you, Dame Lynn.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Where'd you find this?
And there's a note here that says 102.33 plus fees for the boys. Thanks, you guys. Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes. Thank you, Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes.
Lynn.
Means a lot for you to come in and save our butts right in the middle of the show.
Appreciate it.
Okay, there you go. I'm still keeping an eye out in case any other executive producers want to come in.
Okay.
Okay, here's the rest of our producers. Wonderful, talented, beautiful, majestic producers, starting with producer Kyle C.
Kyle C., thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Kyle C. comes in with a nice round number that we do not read round numbers for sake of anonymity, but we appreciate it very much, Kyle C. No note.
Thank you very much.
Next up, we've got producer Christian N.
Christian N. Good to see you.
Comes in with 1999, and he says, "Yo, my dudes, my April contribution. Only one remark. I had mentioned it before. Could you please change the jingle? Poly, it's Latin for many. It makes me cringe every time I hear it. It's Greek. Please, Google it or take my word for it." Greetings from Norway. Thank you, Christian. And yes, we are aware of this. You brought this to our attention.
Yes.
We don't make jingles. Anybody can make a jingle if they want to replace it. But it's from a thing. It's from a Robin Williams bit.
Right.
And we only have it wrong because Robin Williams had it wrong.
Now, is it possible that Robin Williams was being a little tongue-in-cheek? Or do you think he made the mistake?
He's a comedian, so yeah, I think maybe it was part of the joke.
Maybe he knew it's Greek, but he's like, Latin, because everything's Latin.
Yeah, it was a hidden joke for the Latin scholars out there, like Christian N.
Right.
Hey, you can't win them all, Robin.
Yeah, well, for his sake, I will yell Greek during that jingle. Yeah, we'll do that. It'll become a thing.
We'll do that for you, Christian.
Thank you, Christian N.
Next up, we've got producer Mom with a Sword and Shield.
Oh, don't mess with her.
Coming in for 12:54, and a note that says, "Hey, Basil and Gonz, today is episode 476. Strong's, in Hebrew, El Shema, Yahweh has heard." Okay. Today, I'm releasing my faith for what Abba has heard. the desire of our hearts. Love, Mom with a Sword and Shield. And the math comes out to $7.77 plus $4.76 for the episode number is $12.53. Very fun. Thank you very much, Mom with a Sword and Shield.
Thank you very much.
That's a fun way to do some producership. You look up the episode number in Strong's Concordance. And do something based on that.
there's plenty of numbers. That could last us several lifetimes worth of podcasts.
Love it. Thank you very much, Mom with a Sword and Shield. Yep. Next up, we've got producer Morv on an 82 episode streak. That's right. 11:11. Thank you very much, Morv.
Yep.
I didn't see a note. Next, let me just check, make sure there's no note. Didn't see it. Nope. Okay, right. Here we go. Next up is producer Sarah S. with 11:11.
Sarah S. 11:11. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you. Now, hold on. There was a note for Sarah S. Came in through the thing. Here it is. Here's a note for Sarah S. Hi, Basil and Gonz. I made this special donation because I would like to say thank you to the producers. Some of you might remember my prayer request about my brother who got into a skiing accident. I do remember.
Yeah.
Well, praise our gracious God because he is home safe and is back in university and even started an internship. He is as healed as can be. Although he has some permanent injuries, it is nothing that will limit his everyday life in the future. Our God is great and my little brother is tough. Can I get a hallelujah, Gonz?
Hallelujah.
And may I I'm hit my own face. And may I request a good cover story for a scar from Basil?
What? So he must have a scar from the thing, and then
we have been jokingly coming up with fun, heroic, crazy stories. He can tell if someone asks about it.
Yeah, see,
it is a long, thin line that goes horizontally across the chest.
Is it like the guy? Have you ever seen Predator? You know that guy that before he goes to fight the Predator gets a knife or a sword or something, and he marks himself across the chest. Yeah, so it's a war symbol. You know, it's a. So we get to use that.
There's got to be a robot involved. Hold on, let me finish the note, and we'll figure out the story.
Sure, go ahead.
P.S. I will make an effort to produce more in the future. It has come to my attention that if I don't show any life signs, then I will be forgotten. Oh, yes, I thought this might happen. In Friday's episode, Sarah L. made the assumption, I don't know if it's an assumption, but said that she will be the first Sarah to be a dame, which is false news. Come on, guys. Doesn't anyone remember me? No hard feelings, though. Welcome to the round table, Dame Sarah of the Shadows. With love, Dame Sarah of the House Taylor, pursuer of truth and mother of cats. Yes, I remember now. Thank you, Dame Sarah of the House Taylor. You know, when I heard Dame Sarah of the Shadows say that, I thought to myself, surely that can't be true.
Yeah, I did too. Did we check?
It would have taken us 4 seconds to check.
I know. That's the sad part about this whole operation.
Unless Dame Sarah of the House of Taylor didn't make it on the website.
That's the other thing that, I know.
Why don't you just go check now?
I'm trying right now, yeah.
Okay.
What's our website?
Okay.
Canary News? What is This is falling apart over here. You're pulling curveballs. I'm joking. I'm
giving away. You are giving away a fun fact that'll make it on some trivia. Does Gonz know the website? No is the answer to that.
Website.
It's CanaryCry.Roundtable.com.
Oh, there's an actual. I thought it was CanaryCryNewsTalk.com/roundtable.
That is how the internet works. We have many different ways of getting there.
Dame Sarah of the House Taylor, pursuer and truth and mother of cats, episode 282. So yes,
there you go.
We failed.
What?
We failed.
Why did we?
Because we didn't point it out in the last episode. But it's okay.
I know. We're still memorizing everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get on with the show here, Gonz. May I request a good cover story for a scar from Basil? We have been jokingly coming up with fun, heroic, crazy stories. And, he can tell if anybody asks about it. It is a long, thin line that goes horizontally across the chest. Yeah, well, I think, I remember how I got this scar. It was when I was in a robot battle. I was in my giant mech. I was fighting for the honor of the Canarium against the Jeff Bezos bot. I'm sorry, against the Elon bot. And he bested me for a moment, and my robot went face first into the dust. I was trapped under some rubble, my robo rubble. And suddenly, out of nowhere, I heard a little squeaking, a little squeak, squeak, squeakum. And coming through a hole, a pipe that was burst and spraying me with hot acid was a robo rat named Squirrel. Squirrel. Yeah, I said, Squirrel? He said, wah! And he attacked my face. And I got him, I grabbed him. And as I was smashing that little Squirrel rat bot against the control panel of my robot, he caught me. He caught me with his bladed sort of scorpion tongued rat tail. And gave me a nice big thin line right across the chest, which looks really cool when I'm bench pressing. It's almost when I'm bench pressing, it's almost like the scar tells the story of the robo battle and the rat guy and the squirrel thing. So yes, I was given these. That's how it happened. Thank you. Who is we in this story, Sarah? Who are you making up stories about my scar with?
I think he's talking. Is it your scar?
Yes.
Okay. She was talking about her brother.
No.
Okay.
Oh, maybe it is her and her brother. Okay.
That's what I thought.
Might be it.
It was her brother's scar.
Sounds good. Makes total sense to me. Thank you very much, Sarah S. That is Dame Sarah of the House Taylor, pursuer of truth and mother of cats.
Thank you very much.
Next,
Dame Sarah.
Speaking of mother of cats, we've got Puddin22 coming in.
Puddin22. Good to see you.
1111. And a note that says, Happy Monday, B&G. Hey, Gary, what day is it?
What day is it? Monday.
Hope you have a great week. Guess I'm not chasing any birds this week due to the avian flu. Wink, wink. Look out, Canarians. Meow, meow, meow. Puddin22.
Thank you very much.
Meow, meow, meow. Right back at you. Next up, we got Sir JC, Night of the Techno Squatch, 94 episode streak.
Yeah, 94. Here we go.
1001. Amen.
Amen. And 1001. Tweet, Canary Boys. Gary, what day is
it? What day is it? Monday.
Hope all is well with you and your families and homes. Thank you, Sir JC.
I'm getting invaded by both children.
Got two children coming at you,
Two children in the room.
Two babies. Are they robot babies or regular babies?
Oh, my gosh.
Samurai babies.
Samurai babies.
It's a real deal. It's an actual invasion. Yeah. Well, it was nice knowing you, Gonz.
Yeah. Oh, he wants to touch the jingle board. That's
not a good idea.
That's the one downfall to our get a jingle board thesis is
yeah, we did not think about rogue babies.
Rogue baby, yeah. Okay.
We should have thought about that.
Let's keep moving. Keep
we'll have to
going.
Put a cage. I'm ready. I'm going. Next up, we are thanking LX Protocol V2, the producer bot, 24 episodes in a row.
Thank you, LX Protocol. You are on a streak.
He is on a streak, and I do not see a note. Okay, oh, yes, I do see a note. It says, God bless. God bless you. Thank you, producer bot.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is Jonathan F. on a 3-episode streak. Which means Jonathan F. is heating up.
He's heating up!
That's right. 777 plus fees. Thank you, Jonathan F. And that concludes, as of now, until I refresh this page, make sure nothing else came in. That concludes our list of producers who came in with $7.77, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. But we got a few more people to thank who came under that limit, starting with the Streak Sisters, Gail M. with 112 episodes.
Ooh.
Women rule!
Thank you so much.
Next up, we got Veronica D on 112 episode story.
Thank you so much.
Next, we got Sir Casey Shield Knight with a 147 episode streak. Okay.
Come on, buddy.
Babies. Next up, we got Jackie Yu with a 52 episode streak. Goo Goo Gaga.
Yeah, she's on a streak.
Women rule!
Next, we got Sir Scott Knight of Truth with 137 episodes in a row.
Sorry, what it was? I wasn't listening. Yelling at children. What?
137, Sir Scott, baby.
Oh, Sir Scott. Yes, Sir Scott Knight of Truth. 137 episodes in a row.
Sir Scott.
Yeah, here we go.
Next up, we got, last but not least, we got Sir James Knight, Servant of the Lion of Judah on an 80 episode streak.
All right.
Come on. Oh my gosh. Next up, that's it. We're done. Thank you all for your patronage.
Shut up and take my money.
Thank you for your patronage. Thank you for your patronage. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your patronage.
Okay, where are we? What are we doing?
We got voicemails.
Please leave a message after the tone.
At the tone, please record your message.
Leave a message.
Beep.
Message!
That's right. Go to CanaryCry.Newstalk.com. You can find a green tab. It'll be on the right or the bottom of the page. Click on that. It'll just give you a button. You just click on the button and then you leave us a voice message. It's so easy. And you are agreeing to have it played on the show, although it is not guaranteed. Gonz, do we have any voice messages?
Whoa, weird. Yeah, I think we got one from Katie U here. Let's see. Haven't vetted this one, so hopefully it's not too bad.
It's wonderful. I listened to it.
To it. Got it. Cool.
Hey, Basil. Hey, Gonz. Hey, Canary Cry family. This is Katie Underwood. Me, my husband, and my 15-year-old son, and my 71-year-old father love y'all and y'all's ministry. Thank y'all so much for all y'all do. We just hope that this encourages you, and we wanted y'all to know that we love y'all and all our Canary Cry family. Have a blessed day.
Wow, that did encourage us.
That's so cool.
We've got a multi-generational,
yeah.
Yes, multi-generational listening experience. Well, hello to the whole family over there. What was it? It was Katie U, right?
Katie U, and yeah.
So, shout out to the whole U family.
Yeah, very nice. I feel bad doubting that it would be anything less than the sweetest message. So thank you so much, Katie.
Absolutely. Thank you.
We also, I guess this is a message from my ugly, horrible uncle. I don't know. This is kind of weird, but let's see what happens.
Oh, he called in, huh?
Yeah, apparently left the message here.
Hello, is this working? Basil and Gonz and all ugly, horrible people. I have to listen to Canary Cry, and it make me laugh. But Canary Cry in Japanese means pretty dark, so I expect more dark from Canary Cry. Secondly, what are all ugly, horrible Canarians doing about climate change? Climate change going to kill everybody. I have proof. This year in Tokyo, sakura blossom 4 days early. 4 days early. 4 means death in Japanese. So just like how all beautiful sakura blossom, but eventually die and become ugly, so will Canary Cry shine bright now, but eventually become ugly, horrible, die. Because ugly, horrible Canarians do nothing about climate change!
We have got to lower the limit.
That.
We have got to lower the limit on these voice
that was only a minute 13. It wasn't even a full minute 30.
You know, I thought that this was going to be an imposter. I thought it was going to be somebody doing an impression of your grumpy uncle, but it was actually your real grumpy uncle.
Yeah, I think he faxed over his message, so it worked out.
Oh my god, he faxed it. Yeah, he faxed the voicemail over.
And I had to put it back together with a very complicated process.
Yeah, I loved hearing from Tim. Well, I'm glad that we did such a big sort of climate change section at the top of the show then for him. Now, hopefully he approves.
I get the feeling maybe he doesn't. I don't think he's too happy about it. I get the feeling
there's nothing that I could do that he would approve of, which is sort of his charm, I think. Well, thank you very much, Uncle Shimura.
All right.
All right. Well, YouTube, we're out of here. So go find another place to watch the show. You can do that at CanaryCry.Party. Let's wake on up.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Everybody stay calm. What's the procedure?
Go to Twitch, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitter, Facebook, whatever it is. You can find all those links at CanaryCry.Party as well. Too hot for YouTube.
YouTube. Now you see me. Now you don't.
Bye-bye.
Well, Gonz. Yeah, bye-bye. Gonz, I hate to do this, and we almost made it a policy not to do this, but I do want to direct your attention to our timer.
I know. We're right at...
that is sort of makes me depressed how good we were at timing that out.
Yeah.
So let's continue. Next up, what's next? COVID.
It's Corona time. COVID-19. COVID-19. COVID-19.
COVID-19.
Yes. COVID-19. COVID-19. Coronavirus.
Vaccine. Number one way.
I just wanted to do this real quick. We don't have to spend a whole lot of time on it. Factcheck.org. Headline.
Oh, good.
COVID-19 is caused by a virus, not snake venom.
Oh my gosh. Why are they even bothering? Like, it is seriously, look, I don't even like them. And it's so beneath them.
I know.
And it's also very effective propaganda, of course, because that's not what the argument was in the film. I don't know exactly what the argument was in the film, but it wasn't that.
No, well, it's funny because they, you know how they do. It's not even worth reading it because it's just such nonsense type of stuff. But just to get an idea of where they go with all this,
they're straw manning the argument. This is what 100%. A fact checker does.
Yeah.
They straw man the argument and then
they tear it down, making it seem like they're debunking something.
An argument that never existed.
Right. They make the argument that they tear down, which is part of the magic of fact checking.
It's how the industry works.
Yes. I'm going to read a sentence. It's a little out of context in terms of knowing the flow of everything they're talking about, but I think it speaks loud and clear. Quote from the article. So it's been clear for a long time that COVID-19 is caused by a virus, period, parentheses, and snake venom isn't made of viruses. It's a secretion that contains toxins. I mean, do you feel the brain cells just withering away as you spend any time
hearing that? I'm officially clinically dumber after hearing you read that to me.
Yeah, this was unbelievable to read, and I don't want to spend much time on it. I just want to say that it's out there, and of course, you can get into the actual documentation of the facts, and they link to the World Health Organization presser on January 12th. They're like, we found the virus. It's like, okay, yeah, that's trusting.
So I actually want to be super clear about why we think this is horrible, because somebody might be like, oh wow, these guys really think
super
it's
into the
venom.
Snake venom.
Yeah,
which I got into that too, and go ahead.
Sure.
Go ahead.
But the point is, I mean, just the way that it's written, again, the theory that they are referring to is in Watch the Water. That has a lot to do with like snake venom and where the origins of COVID and the genetic similarities.
It's actually
that the virus has.
The specific, because I did the deep dive. I went to the very specific part of the scientific paper that's that's widely online.
The paper does not say COVID is snake venom.
No, it has.
That's not the theory at all.
The codon usage bias is the technical term. The codon usage bias refers to differences in the frequency of occurrences of synonymous codons encoding DNA. That happened to have something that resembled a snake, or the most
similar reptilian,
most similar codon usage bias with snakes was the official quote from the article that the scientific article.
So they were not making the point that COVID is snake venom,
right?
Okay? right. Which is why fact checking the idea that COVID is snake venom is stupid, but also very malicious and like done in bad faith.
Right.
And you got to remember, this fact-checking industry sprung up around the information war regarding Trump, where we know now, and this is not conspiracy theory, we know now that they would do anything to beat Trump in the election, including fabricate intelligence information, pay professionals like legal experts and intelligence people to lie. Basically, many people are on trial either now or will be or have been, and fabricate all sorts of things just to get Trump out, for whatever, for better, for worse. And it's all theater in the end. But that's what this fact checker industry was created to do, was to support that political operation, more or less. And it's really apparent, it's very clear when you see what their job is not to directly address what they would call misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation. It is literally to create a bogus theory and then debunk that bogus theory by quoting the same sort of government organizations that have been in charge of information flow during this entire crisis. And that's not just COVID. That is like the crisis of our existence as a country.
Yeah,
and as a news industry.
To sort of exemplify the sleight of hand taking place here, I always refer back to this article, but it's from January 2020 on The Conversation, republished by the Scientific American. And the headline, I'll just read the headlines. Snakes could be the original source of the new coronavirus outbreak in China. They can be the origin. Snakes, not snake venom. Snakes could be the original.
Reported by the mainstream news.
Reported by the mainstream news. And look at what the fact checkers say today. COVID-19 is caused by a virus, not snake venom.
Not snake venom.
We're not talking about snake venom per se.
It's almost insulting that we're still talking about this. And I apologize.
Right, sorry.
I'm glad you brought it. I'm glad you brought it. I can't believe I fell into the trap of trying to actually unravel that ball of stupid that they're putting out there. But the fact of the matter is, it's called a straw man. It's very effective and easily spottable technique if you know what's going on. Nobody thinks that COVID is snake venom, but they write it and their readers read it, and that's all that really needs to happen.
And they give them money, which is the worst part.
They get money from the government. So it's a good work if you can find it. Get a government paycheck to just make stuff up and then debunk your own stuff.
Basil, in the sports ball world, do you know of a fella named LeBron James?
I've heard of him.
Yeah, he's a sports ball guy, and he's one of his viral moments in his career, when he first went to join the Miami Heat basketball team. He did this big press conference. It's like a concert. There's pyrotechnics and stuff flying everywhere, and in the presser thingy, he talked about how he's not going to win one championship or two championships. He's going to win not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7. It's a very famous viral thing. And I think this doctor is trying to do something to that effect.
So many Ontarians have come forward. Over 92% of those eligible have come forward for their first and second doses. We'd love more people to come forward for their third doses, their fourth doses. In some instances, if you're immune suppressed, you're vulnerable. You could be allowed to have 5 doses of vaccine.
5 doses. Let's do it. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5.
Just keep it going, baby.
Keep it going, man. Oh my gosh, yes, my daughter's counting with me. That's super cute.
Nice.
All right, I just thought that would be fun. Fun little thing. This was some medical thing on CTV, Canadian TV, talking about how Ontario extended their mask mandates. So fun.
Okay. Love it.
And then I have this here, which is, Basil, we don't usually do stuff like this, but I thought, especially now that, we've kicked off YouTube, I think we're a little bit more in the clear to just kind of play stuff without getting, whatever, algos and blah, blah, blah. This is a 2-minute clip it's a montage that someone put together on the internet of all the people in the last year, mostly 2021, media people. You have Rochelle Walensky in here. You have, I think, Bill Gates and Fauci is in here. Rachel Maddow. All of these people saying that the vaccines will not just end the coronavirus, but you can't get infected. Like, once you take the vaccine, you can't get infected and you can't reinfect others, which turned out to be a lie, of course. But it's just a good reminder, I think, for people, especially if they're newer, to
the track record.
Right, the track record of how things were in terms of what the media, not just the media, but really influential people were saying for the last year and a half and what's really come about. So it's got a little music tune to it in the background. Basil, feel free to get jiggy or whatever you do over there with the VR metaverse. But here we go.
And that vaccine, key goal is to stop the transmission, to get the immunity levels up so that you get almost no infection going on whatsoever. Everyone who takes the vaccine is not just protecting themselves, but reducing their transmission to other people and allowing society to get back to normal.
We can kind of almost see the end. We're vaccinating so very fast. Our data from the CDC today suggests, that vaccinated people do not carry the virus, don't get sick.
Now we know that the vaccines work well enough that the virus stops with every vaccinated person. A vaccinated person gets exposed to the virus. The virus does not infect them. The virus cannot then use that person to go anywhere else. It cannot use a vaccinated person as a host to go get more people. That means the vaccines will get us to the end of this.
Essentially, vaccines block you from getting and giving the virus.
Fully vaccinated people are at a very, very low risk of getting COVID-19. Therefore, if you've been fully vaccinated, you no longer need to wear a mask.
When people are vaccinated, they can feel safe that they are not going to get infected. We have all the vaccines we need. We just need our people to take it. A, for their own protection, for the protection of their family, but also to break the chain of transmission. You want to be a dead end to the virus. So when the virus gets to you, you stop it. You don't allow it to use you as the stepping stone to the next person. I think given the country as a whole, the fact that we have now about 50% of adults fully vaccinated and about 62% of adults having received at least one dose, as a nation, I feel fairly certain you're not going to see the kind of surges we've seen in the past.
If you're vaccinated, you're not going to be hospitalized, you're not going to be in an ICU unit, and you're not going to die. You're okay. You're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations.
Liar!
Pretty amazing. From our president to news anchors to billionaires, all telling the same lie. Yeah. It's pretty remarkable.
It was never about the truth. It's not their main concern.
It really is. I don't know, man. It puts things into perspective when you see stuff like that, those montages, because I mean, it really just is in our face, right? The lie is just right in our face, and all it takes is just 1 minute of questioning it, and you can turn it all around.
And I like to think of it a little bit broader than just like about the vaccines.
Of course.
It's not just about the vaccines.
Of course.
The lesson that should be learned here, and which we know, and that's the point, and that's why you're listening to this show, dear listener. But like, if you're showing this to a friend or a normie of some kind, and the conversation gets stuck on the details of the vaccine,
right,
it's kind of missing the most valuable point of the exercise, which is, and the most valuable point of the exercise is like, look, do whatever you want about the vaccine. That's not the problem. The point you should be taking, dear normie, is that they will literally say whatever they're supposed to say. And if you just take their word for it, anybody in a corporate news industry situation, you just can't take their word for it. It means nothing. Like anything they tell you could change the very next day. And look, you could get into the conversation about, is Rachel Maddow lying on purpose? And it doesn't even matter. Like, she might not even know. I believe she believes everything she says, but just because she believes it doesn't mean that it's true. And it's not about that, It's kind of, it's an old trope, but it's the everything you see on TV is true thing, which is a joke, obviously. It's a joke,
yeah. And it was the same thing with the internet. That's the new iteration.
And the other side of that being, if that was true, it would be on the news. Of course, another joke, because of course. That doesn't mean anything. The fact something is or isn't on the news is solely predicated on the profit motives of that news corporation. And if it is in their profit motive to say complete lies, they will convince their anchors that complete lies are the truth. And so they can say it with the utmost sincerity and convince you. So there you go. You guys all know this, but that's the convo to have with your normie person.
Yeah. Speaking of a financial incentive with all of this.
Vaccine, number one way.
Reuters.com reporting here. Pfizer, unions, others donated $61.8 million for Biden's inaugural. U.S. President, U.S. President Joe Biden raised $61.8 million for his inauguration events, receiving large contributions from corporations, labor unions, and wealthy individuals, according to a financial disclosure. The Democratic President's Inaugural Committee took in $1 million in contributions each from about 10 big companies, including Pfizer Inc., the maker of one of the COVID-19 vaccines being deployed in the United States, as well as from AT&T Services, Bank of America Corp., and Boeing. Corporations, yeah, that's funny, Boeing. Corporations making $1 million donations also included Uber Technologies, Lockheed Martin Corp., and Qualcomm, according to the filing submitted on Tuesday. So the entire military industrial complex is in full support. The committee also received $1 million from the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, a major labor union, and about a dozen individuals donated $500,000 each, according to the filing. The filing did not give details on how the money was spent on the events accompanying Biden's January 20 inauguration, which nixed traditional inaugural balls due to the coronavirus pandemic, but included televised performances by Lady Gaga and Garth Brooks, putting that money to good use, man. Bringing that Garth Brooks. They should have brought in his alter ego. What was his alter ego's name?
Chris Gaines.
Chris Gaines, yeah. That would have been way more
emo alter ego.
But I guess Lady Gaga did the emo weird,
Yeah, you can't have too much. No, Garth Brooks was supposed to be the one
American
that brought Americans together.
Right. Yeah. The inauguration ceremony at the U.S. Capitol included security, was paid for by the federal government. The money raised by Biden's committee was well below the $106 million raised by Donald Trump for his 2017 inauguration, but exceeded the $53 million raised by Barack Obama for his first inauguration in 2009. Yeah, so there you go. Biden doing better than Obama.
Oh,
that's the message.
Probably.
That's the big takeaway. So looking at Pfizer, whatever, $1 million is like a penny to Pfizer, right? Giving money to the government there. But I saw this thing kind of floating around the internet, and I don't know, it needs vetting in terms of if it's even real. I would assume that it's part of the Pfizer release, the document dumps that were, they were trying to not do for 75 years, but, was released. This is a letter to Dr. Marion Gruber, who is one of the people that helped make the Pfizer vaccine possible out here in the U.S. And in this letter, it says, "Dear Dr. Gruber," and there's a bunch of technical stuff. There's a line here, "A wire transfer for $2,875,842 was made to the U.S. Department of Treasury, NYC 33 Liberty Street, New York, 10045 on May 5th of 2021 for the user fee for this application." And it says, there's a copy of the user fee and whatever. User fee for the application costs $2.8 million?
Yeah, what? I'm sorry, what application was this?
It's for the vaccine. It's to apply for the vaccine or something in 2021.
Oh, right. Yes.
So people were saying, oh, they're being bribed. And the actual, one of the tweets that I saw this document on was deleted, and it said misinformation on Twitter. So I don't know. I mean, other people still have it. Obviously, Twitter can't take down everybody that's sharing the document. But they were saying, hey, maybe why is this a bribe to the FDA to make this happen? That's
funny. That seems like a misdirection to me. That sounds like a purposeful misdirection to say that that's a bribe, because it's well known that the
protocol.
Yeah, it's well known that the FDA is funded by the pharma companies. Yeah. That's like in the system. That is the legal way that the FDA is funded, is with enormous fees charged to pharma companies. And that's the problem in the first place. Like, it doesn't have to be a bribe. Like, calling it a bribe or something untoward like that is actually the least helpful thing you can do.
Because it implies not just nefarious activity, but illegal activity. And technically, this isn't illegal. This is
also that it doesn't happen all the time.
Right.
Like that it's a special case. This is not a special case. The FDA gets very little money from the federal government. Most of the FDA's budget comes from fees to Big Pharma. Big Pharma pays the bills for the FDA. And we've known this, and it's not been a secret, but people don't pay attention, I guess. Yeah. And it's through things like this. They just pass on millions of dollars for this or that. And surprise, surprise, they end up getting what they want whenever they want it.
And this is a known fact from a year ago. I just thought it was interesting. Marion Gruber, PhD, is the Director, Office of Vaccine Research and Review for the FDA. Him and this other guy named Barney Graham, they were college roommates at Rice University 50 years ago. Barney Graham is the guy who helped make the Moderna shots happen. So Bill and Barney, Gruber and Graham.
That's fun.
The
Gruber and Graham.
College roommates 50 years ago. But vaccine, I don't know, superstars or something. I don't know how to name them. Scientific celebrities in the modern era. Dr. Barney Graham pushing the Moderna vax.
You know what college they went to?
Rice University.
Rice.
Yeah.
Rice. Okay. I'm trying to think what secret society is a Rice.
Yeah, we'll have to look at their fraternity.
Establishment.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, that sounds like a fraternity thing to me.
Yeah. So there you go. I just thought that was interesting. There was something else about Dr. Gruber, but I don't think I had time to really vet the clip, so there wasn't really. We don't have to do it right now, which means we're going to break. But I feel like we're short.
Well, I've got this little update.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is coming from Bloomberg. Oh, I'll give you the link here so you can do something with it. But while we're at it, it's just a very interesting Monday because we've got lots of fairly large developing stories, like changing as this show is happening.
Yeah.
Not changing, but updating, I guess. Yeah. So here's the archive for the Bloomberg article that is headlined Twitter locks down product changes after agreeing to Musk bid. Twitter Inc. locked down changes to its social networking platform through Friday. That's from now until Friday, after accepting a $44 billion bid from billionaire Elon Musk, making it harder for employees to make unauthorized changes, according to people familiar with the matter. For now, Twitter won't allow product updates unless they're business critical, said the people who asked not to be identified because the situation is private. The company accepted a $54.20 a share bid from Musk after a whirlwind courtship that began with the Tesla Inc. magnate disclosing 9% stake in Twitter earlier this month. I wonder what happened over the weekend that, the last big news about Twitter and Elon was the poison pill. Yeah, they weren't going to let it happen. They would rather destroy the company and make their shareholders broke than let Elon take over, which is the poison pill can both be used to discourage a buyer or to just buy them time. And it seems like they're just trying to buy a couple days, trying to buy some time or something. But something happened, and apparently we're going through it. And Elon is very suspicious about the sort of woke infiltration of the company, thinking somebody is going to, could potentially, sabotage it, destroy Twitter before he gets his hands on the steering wheel there.
Yeah, it's pretty insane,
anyways,
man.
There's just a little interesting update.
He's already kind of flexing his authority over the public square.
Well, it makes total sense. You got to do it.
You know what? My follower count has gone up since Elon took over this morning. So there's that.
Has it really?
And I got like 3 more followers. This is a momentous day.
Can Elon, can he lift the shadow ban situation?
I think that's part of his agenda is to do that for people, because he would get a bunch of conservatives and stuff and all those people that are on like other, Gab and stuff like that.
He's trying to get them back.
He would get all those people back if he did some kind of crazy, Project Veritas partners with Elon, expose the whatever.
Or he just releases he just releases the documents on his own company now.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, here's what
there's a filing cabinet in the sort of desk drawer at the office.
I'm almost positive he's going to do some kind of expose. Just get rid of the dirty laundry. Clean out the closet kind of thing, and we'll probably see a few things. And you know what else is probably going to happen is Jack Dorsey's going to look much better. That's my prediction. Totally. I think they're going to clean up his whole association with a lot of the lefty, wacky stuff that was going on. So,
5 hours ago, Ice Cube, Ice Cube, very famous man, Ice Cube, with 5.7 million Twitter followers, tweeted, "Free at last. At Elon Musk, take off my shadow ban, homie." Oh,
see, it's already happening.
Ice Cube is shadow banned at 5.8 million followers. And
those people might be
78,000 likes and almost 9,000 retweets. Cool shadow ban.
You know what Elon's first going to have to do? One of his first PR things is going to be, hey, we're eliminating bots that follow everyone's accounts. Everybody's count is going to go down. Everybody's follower count. We're going to have a big pullback, but we're just 30%. Cleaning up. Yeah, we're all just cleaning up the bots and blah blah blah, and it'll be interesting to see how he traverses all that kind of stuff. But this is an interesting development.
Exposes the bot count of
the Russians,
because you talk about it's about 30% ish is kind of the general idea of like. The bot count on some big followers or whatever. If you have 6 million followers like Ice Cube, that's 2 million bots following.
That's what I'm saying. These celebrity types are not going to be happy when that happens because their numbers are going to dwindle.
Look good.
Yeah, the bigger the number, the more
even dwindle. They're going to get destroyed.
That's what I'm saying. It's not going to look good. They're not going to be happy about it.
It's a great reset, man.
It's a great reset. Elon's got the Twitter count reset. That's what Klaus was talking about. Our Twitter follower count reset. Oh, that's the cyber pandemic. It's all coming together now.
All part of the plan. All right, let's take a break.
Okay, here we go. Ooh, break.
It's break time. Come on, take a break.
Take a break. This is the second break where we thank our producers who come in with their talent, and we consider Canary Cry News Talk to be a place of therapeutic reflection of our troubling world, and we encourage all the people out there to process it through art, music, jingles, ISOs, all kinds of any kind of medium of exchange of ideas in the form of artistry or
still
creation.
Waiting for the interpretive dance.
Yeah, interpretive dance is on our list of requests. Our list of requests is quite amusing, I think. But yeah, we like to share the artwork here because we want everybody to process all of this together. And to start things off here, we're going to start with audio production.
Audio production.
Our first audio production piece comes from Leaderbag 3K.
22nd century Leaderbag man.
He's the 22nd century Leaderbag man. And he has a note here. Hey, boys, I'm sure this won't be the only 144 submission, but after the Poly VM, I had to make something. Also realized there's no jingle jam for Chinese news and figured that I will probably be popping up quite often, or that will be popping up quite often. So made a little something. P.S. Y'all have been missing a Wednesday jingle. I made one with and without the scream. I don't care if y'all play it or not. I only bring it up because the sheer length of the Wednesday jam is comedy and wasn't sure if y'all were missing it. Your pal L. Learbag. Quote, or I guess it's quote, Jeremiah 10:10, but the Lord is the true God. He is the living God and an everlasting King. At his wrath the earth shall tremble, and the nations shall not be able to abide his indignation. Again, it's Jeremiah 10:10. And yeah, he's got the 144 jingle.
144 in a row, bottom. Bing, bing, I made it. Good job.
Oh, that one is great. I like that one.
That's funny.
That's good.
Wow, that was Polly. He took it from the voicemail.
Took it from Polly. Yeah.
Love it.
I think who is it that did it? I think Jonathan F. might have done the last one.
Jonathan F. did one as well. Yeah.
So there you go. We got a couple.
We got a couple.
And Learbag also gave us the Chinese.
You know what?
Yeah.
Real quick, just so I mention it, because I'll never find a place to mention it.
Okay.
I got a breakdown of the weapons we're sending to Ukraine in the newest 800 million.
Right.
It was something like 72 howitzers, 72 vehicles to tow the howitzers, and 144,000 rounds for the howitzers.
Wow.
That's artillery. So there's 144,000 artillery rounds and 72 howitzers and 72 vehicles.
This is why you need to listen to the breaks. You never know what kind of little news update or little hint of info that you might get.
There, man.
It's still content. So I think people need to
put it in the show. I forgot to do it though, but there you go. All right.
I'm talking to those people that aren't listening now. Those people that are like, the breaks are too long. So, okay, yeah. Learbag 3K also sent in this China Learbag. I love it.
That's good. That's really good.
That's really good.
It's nice. Of course, I love the OG China jingle, but it's nice to
evolve.
Freshen it up a little bit.
Yes, yeah. I'm happy to hit the reset button on any jingle, really, but especially some of the older ones. So thank you very much, Learbag 3K. We also have a note and a piece from Psalm 40. He says, peace and blessings, my bros. This week I have Jonah Part 2. The intro may may be a little lengthy for sharing in the break, but I hope you enjoy. If you don't mind, I have a question for Gonz. I understand Baz has the wonderful opportunity to grow up in the church, but what exactly was the tipping point for you, Gonz, that made it abundantly clear that God was real and that his words were true? One of these days, I really want to call in with my testimony. God has done some mind-blowing things in my life. He definitely knew me before I knew him. Amen to that, Psalm 40. The most definitive point.
We did go through, while I give you a second to think about it.
Yeah.
You did an episode of the Joyspiracy Theory.
Yes,
and I think we dove into this a little bit more. Yeah. I don't remember what it was.
I think... if I'm not mistaken, so it had to do with meeting my wife and stuff, but also I think Lee Strobel, the case for Christ, the case for the resurrection, the author that's written all those apologetics books, he was a guest like the second week that I guess I have to tell the whole story, which is basically I met my wife. Well, she wasn't my wife yet, but met her and, hanging out, and she's like, "Hey, I go to church. You want to go to church?" And I was kind of like, I'm not big on church, but she's pretty, so I'll go to church with her, I guess. So I go to church, and the sermon was like, it was the perfect outreach sermon for me personally. It was like, wow. Is this a ruse? Like, did you bring me here because you and the pastor had some kind of deal to talk about my life? It's one of those like weird things. And then, and so I was a little skeptical of the whole thing, but I was like, oh, interesting. Everybody was really nice. And then a week after, because I'm more of the analytical mind. So I had questions, like legit questions about the historicity and evidence and all that kind of stuff. And the following week happened to be Lee Strobel. And once I read The Case for Christ, I was kind of like, okay, something's up here. This is not, Christianity is not exactly what I was told or what I'd perceived through culture, because I hadn't really investigated what it was. I just knew from culture and TV, and I had a few friends or whatever that were Christians, but nothing that was really informing me what it actually was about. So. But yeah, I think it was a lot of stuff, but I don't want to go too long here. But basically, yeah, that's basically it. Psalm 40. There's a series of events. It's not just one thing. I know some people have that one moment, which is always interesting and compelling when people tell those testimonies. But I think this is just an amalgamation of a lot of different things that happened in life. So it's hard to pin down one moment, but a tipping point per se.
That's how life works.
That's how
it's
life
also
works.
How God works a lot of times.
Yep. And that's the thing too.
Thank you very much.
I would agree that I see his doing well before I knew him multiple times, looking back, hindsight 2020 kind of thing. So
love it.
There you go. Thank you very much, Psalm 40.
Yeah, thank you very much. So I don't know, you want to just drop the needle somewhere in the middle, get a little feel for it, or play it all at the end?
Yeah, let's do a needle dropping. How about that? How's that? Needle dropping. Here we go. Let's feel this right here.
Went according to the word of the Lord. And as he entered the city, he proclaimed, in 40 days Nineveh shall be judged for its sin. The people of Nineveh believed the word of God. And when the word reached the king, he issued a proclamation throughout the whole kingdom.
Thank you very much, Psalm 40. We'll be playing the whole song at the end of the show on the Canary Cry mixtape, which news coming up in an episode soon about the Canary Cry mixtape there.
One art, please.
Sorry.
Totally that was good. It was good timing. Don't apologize. You nailed it.
We got some art.
One art, please. Another one from Allie now. Here it is.
Allie sends us this piece here. Headed to Bible study. Wanted to send this first in case you guys started early today. No time for haiku construction at the moment. Apologies. It's okay. This is Macron, by the way, who apparently got reelected even though nobody likes him. Yeah, I noticed that. I noticed that whole debate happening in France. And
it tends to be pretty popular. It tends to be what happens.
Yeah.
No matter how unpopular a politician is nowadays, they get reelected.
Yeah.
Except for Trump somehow.
I guess we can't really trust the voting or something. I don't know.
It's almost like the system doesn't work the way we're told.
It's rigged.
I did not realize how weird looking of a man Macron is.
He's a weird looking man. He's straight lizard man.
He is a straight up lizard man. Yeah. But Allie's got a nice headshot here of him again. Incredibly, for the photorealism continues to increase and increase. And this man's face is spooking me just a little bit. He's got his little lizard eyeballs, his teeth.
I lost it.
His lips are, it's like he has like a droop.
Yeah, I wanted to see the actual picture of Macron to see, kind of see his teeth.
His teeth are, it's, I first learned about the teeth-nose alignment thing from Tom Cruise. You actually have to film Tom Cruise in a specific way.
Right.
Because if you look at him straight on and his mouth is open, you'll see his middle teeth are way out of line with his nose. Now, look, I'm not trying to say that the sort of standard, beauty standards have any intrinsic value. It's just something you don't really notice, like the lining up of the center tooth gap with the nose can be off from the face, and it is a very interesting look Macron has here. He's sort of got a Gary Busey kind of crazed feel to him.
Yeah, a little insanity up in there.
A little bit of insanity going on. Thank you very much, Dame Allie. Incredible work.
Thank you, Dame Allie. Yeah, as always, fantastic work. All right, we also got one from... Oh, what happened? Oh, here we go. Sir Dove, Knight of Rosbeltia.
One art piece from Dove.
As usual, we get a couple pieces from Dove. And the note reads, piece for this week's Bible artwork. I got a design for Psalm 40's new Jonah track and one from Matthew 22 for all of us Christians during this wonderful tax season. Hope you guys like and keep doing what you do. I'll keep praying for you.
Yeah. Starting out with the Render unto Caesar one here.
Yeah, let's do that one. That's the other one I have pulled up.
Oh, whatever you tell me.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, we've got a bunch of pennies in the background. And over that, we've got what were they actually called? Were they dinars? No, what was the Roman one? What was the Roman currency called? I can't believe that I don't remember.
The shekel's Hebrew.
Yeah.
I'm forgetting.
We'll figure. Okay, you'll figure it out. Anyways, it's a coin. It's got Caesar's face on it. The side, it was denarii.
Was it denarii?
Told now. I don't know. It's chat. Chat. You never know whether to trust the chat or not, but sometimes you do.
I typed in Roman.
It's a coin.
Roman currently. That's not what I'm. Roman currency is what I'm trying to
okay, I'm moving on. I'm not doing this anymore. It's a beautiful coin with googly-eyed, derpy Caesar's face on it. It says Matthew 22. It says, render unto Caesar. What is Caesar's? In sort of a Roman type font there. I love it. Thank you, Sir Dove.
Thank you. And then he also has the other piece here, which is... sorry, I'm going back to note. Matthew 22.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Matthew 22.
Matthew 22 is the... Oh, they must both be Matthew 22, perhaps. Matthew 22 is render unto Caesar.
I'm sorry. This is the Jonah one. No, wait. I have it all confused now.
Yeah, this is Jonah. When God saw how they turned from their evil way, God relented, and he did not bring disaster upon the city.
I like the way city is written.
Yeah, this is very cool. It's like, anyways, he's done some wonderful font art here over an image of kind of a industrial park off in the, probably a city somewhere. Yeah. Thank you very much, Dove.
Thank you, Dove. Appreciate it. That's it for the art. We got a couple microfiction.
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 Time. First one is from Rung Smash.
Nimrod and the Evercube debate what to do about the awakening. Almost all of the cyber homunculi have awoken to be facsimiles of the people they were modeled from. Without the workforce watching their ads, their system is crumbling. They have one recourse.
Very tense.
We also got one from the Sentinel.
That's right.
It does not have a jingle. I think we got to get a jingle for the Sentinel one of these days. Every Monday, Sentinel's been coming in.
Yeah, yep. All right, here's Sentinels.
Basil and Skatesay Gonz leave Denny's under the cover of their umbrellas. Over scrambled eggs and pancakes, they planned their 2-month training routine for the first ever All-Valley roller skating tournament. So Skatesay, what did you give to Johnny Cale? Basil inquires. Something or other I could finally admit. It never belonged to me. Something that needed to be returned to its rightful owner. And who is that? The House of Skating owner? Oh yes, sir. John Grease. I pray he has forgiven me, but I fear in my heart that he is ensnared by his own bitterness for the past. Enough of that, enough. We focus on what we need to do. Meet me at the warehouse tomorrow morning. Basil and Skatesay Gonz hug goodbye and began to walk separate ways toward their cars. Basil, son, one last thing. What size skates do you wear? Trying to learn from Grumpy Uncle there.
Yeah, there's a couple. You just got to like extend the last. They extend the last vowel, whatever, coming out of the
and
words.
Add some vowels.
Right, add some vowels in there. Add an oo or u or e at the end, and just drag it out.
Just remember, everybody, Gonz is teaching me. Okay, this is not made up. Trying to accurately portray the old grumpy uncle.
Yeah.
All right. I think that's all we got, right?
That's it.
Time to mosey on out of here.
Let's wake up.
Let's go, dude.
Yes, it's wake up time.
Hey, yo, wake up.
It is.
And then we actually get to move on to our next target on the timer there.
Yeah. And
we actually get
it?
to do it this time.
Is it, it's space.
Space. Wanna go to space?
There's a couple stories to cover here, and the first
nice and easy.
Yeah, nice and easy. This first one, thought you'd love this. Was sent in by producer Jam. The outlet is studyfinds.org, and the headline: Historic power beam energy test paves way for zap energy to. Wait, did I just hold on? Historic power beam energy test paves way to zap energy to troops from space. A little zoom in.
There's a lot going on in there,
huh? Washington.
Power energy beam.
Yeah. Could soldiers in the future receive the power for their equipment from space? A team of researchers from the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory, NRL, have demonstrated the feasibility of terrestrial microwave power beaming by transmitting 1.6 kilowatts of power over 1 kilometer. The achievement by a team at the U.S. Army Research Field in Blossom Point, Maryland, is reportedly the most significant power beaming demonstration in nearly 50 years. 50 years? Wow. What happened 50 years ago? Why did it take 50 years
tell me
for
about
this?
that power beam?
Microwave power beaming is the efficient point-to-point transfer of electrical energy across free space by a directive microwave beam. The U.S. Department of Defense, DoD, believes wireless beaming of energy from space will be vital for zapping fuel supplies to battlefield troops. Scientists are also touting it as the, quote, ultimate green technology. Climate change, with a constant year-round supply available as opposed to other sporadic green energy sources. The demonstrations pave the way for power beaming on Earth, in space, and from space to Earth using power densities within safety limits set by international standard bodies. Quote, as engineers, we develop systems that will not exceed those safety limits, says Paul Yaffe.
That's them saying, hey, if anybody gets fried, it's not our fault.
PhD, Paul Yaffe, PhD, power beaming and space solar lead in a media release. Quote, that means it's safe for birds, animals, and people. He didn't say robots. It's not safe for robots.
Maybe that's what this is. They're getting ready they need the space lasers to fight the robo wars.
Well, you know what though? Think about the army of robots, how they can perpetually be, working without any battery, just beam energy from space.
Right. You just do a little energy beam down to them. No batteries needed.
Yeah. Within 12 months, talk about puppet strings, like literal puppet strings.
Totally. Whoa, crazy.
It's crazy. Blown mind. Within 12 months, NRL established the practicality of terrestrial microwave power beaming and beamed 1 kilowatt of electrical power over a distance of 1 kilometer using 10 gigahertz microwave beam. Safe, the beams even cut through bad weather. Safe and continuous power beaming microwave demonstrated power beaming at 2 locations, one at the U.S. Army Research Field at Blossom Point, and the other at the Haystack Ultra-Wideband Satellite Imaging Radar, HUSIR transmitter at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Quote, the reason for setting those targets is to push this technology farther than has been demonstrated before, Yaffe said. You don't want to use too high a frequency as it can start losing power to the atmosphere, adds project principal investigator Christopher Rodenbach, PhD, head of the Advanced Concepts Group, NRL. Quote, 10 gigahertz is a great choice because the component technology out there is cheap and mature. Even in heavy rainfall, loss of power is less than 5%. In Maryland, the team exceeded their target by 60% by beaming 1.6 kilowatts over 1 kilometer. At the Massachusetts site, the team did not have the same peak power, but the average power was much higher, thereby delivering more energy. Yaffe notes that during past experiments with laser power beaming using much higher power densities, the engineers were able to successfully implement interlock systems, so if something approached the beam, it would turn off. Oh, yay. Quote, we did not have to do that with Scope M because the power density was sufficiently low that it was intrinsically safe, Yaffe said. It goes on. Oh, I guess we should read this. Brian Tierney. Go ahead. Do you want to have a thought?
No, just whenever you're done. Yeah.
Brian Tierney, PhD, Scope M electronics engineer, says the DoD is interested in wireless power beaming, particularly wireless power beaming from space, and that a similar rectifying antenna.
Gross. Don't say that.
I don't know about the name.
This is a family show, man.
Well, it's a rectifying antenna is what they're talking about.
Say rectenna.
The rectenna array, as used for Scope M, could be used in space. A rectenna is a special type of receiving antenna for converting...
I'm sure it is.
For converting electromagnetic energy into direct current electricity in wireless power transmission systems. Basil, you need to get a rectenna, man.
No, I don't need a rectenna, Gonz.
I'm just going to stop there. I think that's...
Nobody needs a rectenna.
Well, no, you get wireless energy. Who needs a generator or a solar panel or wind farm when you can just get energy from space?
So
laser
this was one of the
beam
things,
energy.
I see people in the chat asking the same questions that I was asking when we first looked at this. Not the rectenna thing. That's no questions about that. Which is they kind of talk about this as a source of energy.
Yeah.
Especially when they're trying to shoehorn the, green.
Yeah, it's green, it's climate safe.
Yeah,
sure.
The whole thing, they're really just shoving it in there.
They really want this product to be out there in the market in this next great reset.
They're getting their rectenna all ready to just get but the green stuff made no sense, and they kind of said it and they just kind of kept going, right? That this is so green, it's going to fix the whole world. But they kind of talk about it as if it were a source of energy.
Yeah.
Which is like the biggest problem with things not being green. Look, it's not the wire that takes the electricity from the coal burning power plant to the Tesla charging station. The problem there is not the wire that brings it there. It's the coal burning power plant. So this is not a source of energy, which is, again, it really kind of is weird how
it taps into the ether, man.
No,
the Akashic Records are feeding us the free energy flow, man. They figured it out. They're giving it to us now. Come on, bro.
This is just a wireless transmission device, which is cool. It's impressive how it goes, like to be able to do that.
Yeah.
But it's also not like new. Like we've known that you could do this. The reason we don't do it is because people get fried from the inside out. They cross the beam.
Oh, kind of like with the same effects people are experiencing from UFO sightings and alien presences or whatever.
I mean, the literal technology behind the Havana syndrome is a microwave beam weapon. And they're like, yeah, we're going to do that. Just like way bigger. It'll be sick, dude.
Dude, it'll power robots and all kinds of stuff, man.
Right. Yeah, it's the same people who think, yeah, good. 122 go to in the chat. It makes the point. It's like people who think that a Tesla charging station is the source of electricity that is charging their car, you know.
Yeah, it's true.
But this
for the sheeple
space energy thing. Now, look, I am very familiar with cosmic rays and the way that they can be captured. Well, I've done my fair share of tinkering from the old Tesla papers that were recovered.
Yeah,
I made a cosmic ray catching, thing. Couldn't do anything with it, but the numbers
you can capture
were there.
The energy and you can harness it and reallocate it for something useful.
I could just do it and see it on my voltometer and be like, wow, cool.
You're registering it, but you can't
do anything with this. But okay. Well, famously, the guy who invented the floppy disk painted his entire house in the basically black goo that can capture cosmic rays. You can pull energies just straight out of nowhere, basically.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about the source that these things are beaming, the DoD wants to beam energy. It's not electricity, but it's in the form of microwaves.
Yeah,
becomes electricity on the other side.
Right.
I mean, to shoot that down from a satellite, they got to be talking about doing like a solar array or something in space, and then shooting that down to charge
there's no
whatever
wind up there apparently.
The kill bots, yeah, either that or they're doing some cosmic ray stuff, which they've refused to sort of admit is real. But I think that your point about the puppet strings is really good. I mean, you think about it, even on sort of a spiritual sense, you got an army full of killbots marching across the desert in the Middle East somewhere. You can't charge them anywhere. You point your little microwave satellite space laser at them,
and they come back to life.
Charge them up.
Yeah.
And if you could see in the electromagnetic realm, you would see basically puppet strings controlling these little robots walking around, taking over the world. It's a pretty interesting idea.
I'm gonna pull an audible because there's one more story that I wanted to include in this segment because it just fits with everything going on. And this is from CNET, and the headline here: NASA holoported a doctor onto the International Space Station. We're living in a Star Trek episode, basically. And here's what it says. I have a new noun for your vocabulary: holoportation. Never seen Star Trek, or what's the okay?
He's trying to reinvent
hold on. It's an amalgam of
who is this? Hold on. Who is saying this?
CNET.
Oh, just CNET.
CNET.com. The science the author is Monisha Ravisetti. So maybe she doesn't know.
Not a Star Trek fan.
Not a Trekkie, yeah, maybe. It's an amalgam of hologram and teleportation. And though it may seem like it isn't just a niche sci-fi term buried somewhere in Isaac Asimov's novels and Star Trek episodes.
Okay.
Got us. In October, NASA used this mind-boggling futuristic mechanism to bring NASA flight surgeon Dr. Josef Schmid onto the International Space Station while he was safely planted on our planet. No rockets necessary. Schmid was joined on this trans-dimensional journey by Fernando de la Peña Yaca and CEO of AEXA Aerospace, an organization that helped develop the holoportation equipment, and a few other team members. Quote, "It is a brand new way of human exploration where our human entity is able to travel off the planet," Schmid said in a statement earlier in April. Quote, "Our physical body is not there, but our human entity is absolutely there." And they have a picture here of the holoportation team being projected into what I assume is the International Space Station here in October. And yeah, they're all like pixelated. It kind of looks like it's really poorly photoshopped. You know, it's like if you're gonna if you're a beginner photoshopper, this is how you would, you know, make an image where you overlay something that's not there in the image. Though nearly unbelievable, holoportation isn't a totally new technology. Microsoft came up with the idea several years ago, but the primary intention of revolutionizing sectors like advertising, terrestrial, hospital care, and education, and has since been steadily developing the concept. But NASA's recent endeavor took the feat to the next level. This is the first time such virtual transportation. She keeps saying it as if it's literal.
Yeah.
The first time such virtual transportation has successfully
brought people.
It's a video call. It is, yeah.
It's a fancy video call, and she's writing as if it's, yeah.
Here's how everything went down. Basically, high-quality 3D models of the holoporters were developed, digitally compressed, transmitted, and reconstructed in the Spaceborne lab, all in real time, Basil. Meanwhile, a mixed reality display aboard the ISS, namely Microsoft's HoloLens, advertisement placement, allowed both the holoporters and astronauts to see, hear, and interact with one another as though they were in the same physical space. Astronaut Thomas Pesquet, for instance, had a two-way conversation with Schmid and De La Peña right in the middle of the ISS, despite being miles apart away from their holoporters.
Okay,
cool. All right.
I mean, that's kind of cool that they're doing it. I mean, this is quite the piece of journalism about it.
Well, it's part of the. I think we're at the point where they're ready to commercialize this, because the only way the marketing was really going to work is if you did something like this, and even then, it's not really. I don't hear a whole lot of people talking about it, so maybe it's not as compelling as they were hoping. But it would have to be this.
Well, HoloLens is an AR thing, isn't it? This AR. Is not in physical space. They just did an AR Skype call.
Right. Yeah. Augmented reality. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
love it.
And I don't know if the people that are actually in the ISS can interact with the holograms like in real space or what. Who knows?
No, not if it's AR. If it's AR, they're just kind of it's on their glasses, man.
So, but you got to wear the. Chilling. I know, they got to wear the glasses, but
yeah, you take the glasses off, he's not there. It is just literally a Skype call.
Okay, well, that's how they deceive you, and so there you go. You got that. You got holograms of yourselves up there, and devices that apparently beam lasers to your iPhone.
You know, Gonz, space lasers, holo teleportation grams, it all's coming together, and it all has one thing in common. You know what that is?
It's cold, Basil. It's cold. Antarctica, go burn.
It's a snowstorm. Antarctica.
Ice scientists are penguins.
Antarctica, they're opening the abyss.
So a new discovery. Antarctica.
Advanced Antarctica climate crisis.
Penguins.
Euronews.com.
No. This is Euronews.green.
That's also on the page, yes. This group of unlikely polar explorers found hope amid a heat wave in Antarctica. Yeah, you know it. If you listen to this show, you know exactly what's going on. This group of unlikely polar explorers found hope amid the heat wave in Antarctica. Man, it's like if you've been listening to the show for the past couple months, just that collection of like 13 words says so much more than the article possibly could. But I'll read the rest for you. The vast majority of people will never visit Antarctica. Okay, setting up some exclusivity right off the bat there. Love it. But last month, the vast majority of people will never listen to this podcast as well. The vast majority of people will never do a lot of things. But okay, last month, there are more than 160 environmental leaders and youth activists had the chance to take part in an expedition to the continent.
Wow.
Zanagi Artis, founder of U.S. youth-led activism group 0 Hour and winner of the Global Choices competition for a place on the expedition along alongside Emma Wilkinson, Arctic Angel with U.S. environmental nonprofit Global Choices, are two of the people that took part. That made no sense to me. Was that words? Was it just a weird way that I read it, or was that kind of like a rambling
they're listing people
AI
there
type of thing?
Yeah, no, it was okay.
Here's a quote. There were CEOs, people that work in policy, youth activists, environmental leaders. It was really a diverse and powerful group, able to create and sustain amazing positive impact. Wilkinson tells Euronews Green, quote, the international and intergenerational expedition was truly collaborative. It was incredible to be part of. I love it. We still don't know what's going on. They've literally not given any actual information. The Climate Force 2041 expedition was led by Robert Swan, the first person to walk to both the North and South Poles alongside his son Barney. The polar explorers took this diverse group of people from 35 countries on a journey across the Drake Passage to the west of the continent.
So we got
the purpose of the trip.
Bob and Barney Swan.
Yeah, Barney Swan. The purpose of the trip, to inspire meaningful action to preserve Antarctica and the rest of our planet. That's
meaningful
right. It's
action.
the Swan. It's Bob Swan's booze cruise, baby. This is the first thing we've heard about
with his son Barney.
Reported. Apparently, they've been out there this whole time. And remember, this was a booze cruise for not. They're saying activists. Yeah, they're saying activists now. But in the original press releases, it was influencers.
Yeah, TikTokers.
We're taking a bunch of
Instagrammers.
Influencers. We're taking our influencers. We're going on a journey with Bob Swan down to the Antarctic.
Man,
we've got great Wi-Fi on the boat. We're going to change the world.
I just had that feeling, that horrible feeling of how young people get swindled, or I don't know. You know, they think they're just an influencer on some social media platform, and all of a sudden they're an activist because they're given the opportunity for something like this, and all of a sudden
because of their follower count,
right? They're environmental, and they don't even know. They don't know better. They think they're doing something great, you know. So that just
Swans and Sons Antarctic mission.
You got to take down those swans.
Now listen to this. Now, so if you've listened to the show, you are aware of Bob Swan. You are aware of the booze cruise with the people. You're aware that they have great internet on the boat, thanks to whatever the company was that used them,
right,
for marketing purposes. Yeah. You're aware of all this. This was, I can't even remember. This must have been at least a month ago, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it happened, or it is happening. Now, it continues. Interesting how you mentioned what you just mentioned, Gonz, about the, kind of bamboozling that can happen in situations like this. The next headline, or the next sub-headline, is Deception Island.
Whoa, bro.
Snapshot of Antarctica's dark past.
Oh, hey.
Ooh.
Getting dark.
They took them to Deception Island. Antarctica's wildlife was one of the highlights of the trip for both Wilkinson and artists. They were encouraged to take part in some citizen science by identifying the whales using photos of their tails, helping conservationists to understand their migration patterns.
Wait, I thought we're on Deception Island.
We're on Deception Island. We're looking at whales, man. The
whales.
Well, the whale. This is the impactful stories we're getting off of Bob Swan's booze cruise. The whales were so incredible. This is a quote. Just thinking that there are other creatures on the planet that are so dynamic and intelligent and just alive in experiencing their own ecosystem that is so different from the way that humans live was amazing, artist says. If you didn't quite catch all that, folks, that was like a really, really long sort of idiotic way of saying whales in water, human on land. I human on land, whale in water. I saw whale in water.
The picture here looks very epic, though. The whale spotting, they're in like a boat on the water. Nice they see the whale tail.
Big zodiac.
Snowing, it's cold.
12-person zodiac.
Yeah.
One of the excursions reminded them of the dark past of the continent. Ooh, they're getting into the dark past, Gonz. The Nazis, the Nephilim penguins.
Yeah,
they're getting into the giant spiders.
Finally.
The shimmer. This is what we were waiting for. One of the excursions reminded them of the dark past the continent has when it comes to these majestic sea creatures. A visit to Whalers Bay on Deception Island was an incredibly powerful experience to Wilkinson. In the early 20th century, hundreds of men spent the Antarctic summers here hunting whales, stripping them of their blubber and boiling down the fat to make oil for lamps. Last century, nearly 3 million of these marine creatures were thought to have been killed by industrial harvesting. That's a lot of whales. Wilkinson describes the atmosphere of the abandoned whaling station as emotional. Quote, "It's just incredibly eerie and quite ghostly to see the remnants of structures where the oil was kept, where the whalers lived." For artists, it was also a sign of humanity's ability to adapt and change. That's right, baby. We're back to coal. Burn the coal. No reason to burn the whale blubber anymore. We've come so far. Quote, "This is the history of extraction from the ocean and extraction from other living things to fuel our planet. And all around us," not fueling the planet, by the way, "and all around us, we could see how it was being reclaimed."
Whale blubber?
Meow, meow, meow.
Was fueling the planet?
Yes, we had to harvest the whale blubber and then dump it into the sinkhole, and it went down into the core of the planet. That's why it kept. That's what keeps the Earth rotating. Apparently, whale blubber.
Whale blubber.
Yeah. Now here's the thing. We knew all this. I mean, we knew this was going to be a big nothing burger. I mean, it's fun. Have you seen a single other article or video or anything? Anything from this pod of influencers floating around with Bob Swan?
No.
Okay. I'm just real quick. I'm going to just do a quick search because who knows? Just because I haven't seen it doesn't mean that nobody else has. But, you know, the hope for this whole thing was that it was going to be sort of like this global movement, that you get all these Antarcticas and they're going to get all these influencers down to Antarctica.
Typing Antarctica, aren't you?
Yeah. And they would put out videos, and all their followers would be super interested, and their followers would suddenly, buy tickets to go take a vacation at the Antarctica luxury, hotel that they put up every year or whatever. Real thing, not joking, by the way. If you're new to the show,
not a joke.
Not a joke. Listen, the thing. Anyways, I'm scrolling Twitter. Not a single important thing about Antarctica doesn't seem to be working, this influencer booze cruise. But we've talked about how Antarctica is the perfect victim to be used as a messaging tool for sort of the ideological colonization, which I'm sure you're all tired of me saying, or hearing me say, rather. But no Antarctic Euronews article would be complete without a subheadline that says heat waves and ice shelves collapses in the Antarctic. Expedition leaders encouraged the group to be fully present in the unique landscape they were traveling through. Good luck. They are influencers. They're busy checking their likes and mentions and stuff. I see how that would be one of their biggest concerns. But using internet access via a satellite phone, they read about 2 incredibly significant events that occurred while they were on the continent. I see you maybe didn't fully hear me, listeners. Let me read that again.
Read it again, yeah.
The expedition leaders encouraged the group to be fully present in the unique landscape they were traveling through. But using internet access via satellite phone, they read about 2 incredibly significant events that occurred while they were on the continent. Hey, you're here on Antarctica. Here you are. It's awesome. Hope you like it. Please remember to retweet the official Bob Swan Booze Cruise account. But, I get it. It's cold and it's kind of just a lot of rocks and snow and stuff. So I'm going to send you guys a link so you can read about something interesting going on around here.
It reminds me kind of the January 6th thing where the news media was like, an insurrection, and then there's like footage from the inside, and there's a guy walking with his backpack, like looking at stuff.
Yeah,
and
they're like taking pictures and like
oh, yeah, I'm reading about that. I guess there's an insurrection happening here. Look at that!
Yeah.
Isn't that wonderful?
Oh, dang, Bob, we got to get out of here.
We should get out of here. This says the Trumpsters coming to get us.
Seeing tweets about an insurrection. Can you believe the same day that we go into the Capitol to like hang out and take some pictures that this other thing happens? Okay. Quote, one was that Conger ice shelf, talked about that, collapsed in eastern Antarctica, Zanegy says. And then we also saw the news of the record heat wave that crossed eastern Antarctica. A research station recorded unprecedented temperatures, more than 30 degrees Celsius above seasonal norms. These were weather conditions experts didn't think were possible. Lies, not true, a lie. That is a straight up lie.
We covered this
happened
story
in 2016. We've covered this story. It happened literally 6 years ago. It is not impossible.
I thought it was like the more direct correlation was from like the 70s or 80s or something, but nevertheless, there's a historical precedent. Okay, yeah.
It happened in 2016 as well. Then on the Antarctic Peninsula to the west of the continent where they were based, the group experienced rain.
Oh my gosh, they got rained on. Influencers.
It rained on the booze cruise, Gonz.
It rained on the booze cruise.
It rained. Can you believe it? The quote, the expedition leaders had shared that they actually had not experienced rain on their past trips to Antarctica. And Robert has been going for decades now, Zanegy explains. So when he says Robert, he's talking about Bob Swan, baby. Bob Swan. Bob Swan was on the deck with the influencers tweeting, and he goes...
He feels
rain?
A drop. Yeah, he feels a drop on his head. Rain.
I've never experienced rain here before.
It's been
I think Bob's
decades.
making it up. Decades. He says
never
that this
once
type
have I
of
felt the
weather
raindrop. Yeah,
never felt the rain down in Africa or Antarctica. Thank you. He says that this type of weather is incredibly rare, especially at this time of year when the days are getting shorter and the continent is moving into winter. Quote, the weather was very erratic. Emma adds, the Antarctic Peninsula is one of the fastest warming regions on the planet. No, it's not. Not according to scientists who live there. Almost 3 degrees Celsius over the past 50 years. The rains are a source of concern with consequences for the entire ecosystem. Wow.
Keep reading. What? The next sentence is the beautiful, lovely language weaving.
Yeah. Are you talking about the quote or the next paragraph?
No, the paragraph.
Okay. They are just one of the many impacts climate change affecting this part of the world. No, it's not. But okay.
Yeah.
Sea ice, for example, reached a record low this past summer, falling under 2 million square kilometers for the first time since satellite records began. Quote, Antarctica is crucial.
Hold on. Just logically speaking here.
How long? 15 years.
How long have we had
looked this up.
Satellite records? We did?
Yeah, satellite records. We've gone through this. This was in another thing. I forget what it is, but it is outrageously short period of time. It's like 15 years or something.
Okay.
Is how long they've been keeping these satellite records. But yeah, so like it's the least ice we've had in 15 years. Okay. Quote,
let's just forget that anything happened or whatever, however long you think the world has existed before that. So yeah.
Right. Quote, and despite the fact that there are no people who have permanent residence in Antarctica, that it has no culture. And no history of a human population. This continent is crucial for regulating local climate.
What is it, a petri dish?
There's a lot
What
going
is
on
that?
There, man.
What are you saying, Zanegy?
It makes no sense. It's both. Yeah, exactly. You're right. Like he's saying nothing and also not saying the truth at the same time. I mean, saying that Antarctica has no culture, not technically true. I mean, unless you're trying to say like a cult. What does that mean to you? What does culture mean to you?
Culture,
Zanegy? Because Antarctica has a culture, my friend, and it is LGBTQ friendly. We have discovered and discussed and tracked that. It is the most woke place on the planet. And no history of human population. You literally just told us that whale hunters were there like 100 years ago. What is that? Is that not a human population? Is that not history? I don't understand. This continent is crucial. Okay. For a lot of things, I bet. But what do you think? For regulating local climate.
What does that mean?
What local climate? Like, what do you? How do you regulate climate from Antarctica? Like if it's if it's too hot in Des Moines, do you just like go down and turn some knobs down in Antarctica?
Call up the penguins or the whales, whatever it may be. Your preference.
Whatever.
In Antarctica.
I mean, the Nazi scientists or something, or the Hollow Earth guards. I think this is why we're not hearing about the booze cruise very much. It's because this is the kind of nonsense that's coming out of it. Yeah. It's erroneous. It's sort of like, what is the fancy word for it? It's nuts. I thought I was going to sound super smart for a second. It's just too sweet. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's too sweet. It's not real. There's no substance here. It's just a bunch of like teens. Look, I don't know how old this person is, but it's just like it's influencers. That's exactly what it is. You think you're going to get influencers, people who have devoted their lives to the most vapid, shallow way of expressing oneself and gaining the praise of their peers, and you're going to go and try to get them to suddenly correctly communicate actual science, not just repeat whatever Bob Swan tells them on the Lido deck, but to actually have them like communicate in some sort of valuable way. This was a huge mistake, man. You don't bring influencers to the Antarctic to get some like good quotes. You bring podcasters, Bob. Come on, Bob Swan. Give me a call, my man.
Do you think they call him Mr. Swan?
I'll sit down. Mr. Swan. I'm sorry I said so many mean things about you on my podcast.
Look,
I respect you and your courage. But Mr. Swan, you need to bring podcasters on your booze cruise. You think you're gonna get 3 posts from your influencers that get might get picked up by BuzzFeed or something.
Right.
Baby, Bobby, listen up. I will sit on the Lido deck for 4 hours a day and ramble with facts and info and humor and voices. Have you heard my Russian accent, my friend? You give me a chance. Bring me down there. Set me up. I just need 1 trip to the buffet a day. Let me podcast from your, like, whatever your boat's called. Forget what it's called. It's the Swanmobile or whatever. Just forget what it was. Let me on the Swanmobile. Get me down there. I will create content for you, Bobby Swan. Hit me, bro. Anyways,
I can't find it. There's a little section here that I know. There's a section here that is equally as entertaining, telling the story of Antarctica, the name of the expedition and the foundation behind it.
Pollyanna. Thank you, Lizards. 59. Pollyanna. Yes, these influencers are just Pollyanna when it comes to their coverage.
Perfect. The name of the expedition and the foundation behind it is a nod to a vital international agreement called the Antarctic Treaty. It ensures that the continent belongs to everybody on the planet and can only be used for peaceful purposes, or else we shall strike you down. The treaty prohibits military activity, parenthetical, except in support of science. Nuclear explosions. Nuclear explosions and the disposal of nuclear waste while promoting scientific research and the exchange of ideas or exchange of data. So they prohibit military activity except for science, and they can have military activity, which is like, okay.
Except for when you want to set off some nukes in Antarctica for science.
Well, no, they say it says it prohibits nuclear explosion and the disposal of nuclear waste.
Oh, it prohibits. Okay. I'm sorry, I missed that part.
No. But What support science? What does that even mean? Like, what, Fauci is under attack by the penguins and you can use military action? Or do you mean you can do military experiments because it's under the name of science? Like, what is that? It's way
you can shoot
broad.
Space lasers.
Yeah.
Space lasers.
There's no
man. You
specificity
can shoot
here.
your space lasers. I don't think it's a coincidence, actually, that this huge temperature spike. See, that's the other thing with the climate change thing. Is the climate change thing is very useful to keep applying it, even though the scientists, again, professional Antarctic scientists say it was not climate change, and yet news outlets can't help themselves, because if the DoD did have in their possession a space laser to transmit microwave energy from space to a location on the ground, which they said they want and they have and they do and they plan and they dream about it at night, if indeed they're making progress on that, where would the scientific experiment happen? They would shoot their little laser at Antarctica, and you got that little knob dialed up too high. Yeah, you're going to cause a 30 degrees Celsius. You're gonna raise it 100 degrees Fahrenheit. You cranked up the microwaves too high, and you can always hide it from the population by calling it climate change. Very convenient set of narratives going on here.
There's so the name of the group here, one of the organizations is 0 Hour, right? And obviously there's like a bunch of shows and stuff that have used that same title, 0 Hour. There was a show in 2013 called 0 Hour. It's not a great show, but it touched on a lot of like conspiracy theory themes, and they were like, the whole premise of the film was very like anti-Christ-like. There was a Christ-like figure. They were trying to find a female mate to like birth their whatever super child or whatever. And they were re-establishing the 12 disciples of Jesus and the whole deal. And the whole show is just chock full of that stuff. And I think there was like, it might even be like the opening scene or something of the show where there's like a submarine. There's a German, like a Nazi submarine, and it's coming out of ice. And I don't know if it was supposed to be Antarctica, but it would be kind of interesting to just sort of, point that out. Yeah. There's always references.
That's a very famous image. But I think, I don't know I haven't seen that show, but that was a whole big thing.
There's a big conspiracy theory.
Theory. Well, it wasn't even like a conspiracy theory. They did have U-boats up above the Arctic Circle.
Yeah.
They were trying to position themselves to attack Russia from up there, I think.
Yeah, those Russians, they've always been.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. I think we're done with this show, I think.
I think we're done with
we
could retire today, and I'd feel okay.
Bob Swan.
Bob, call me up, Bob.
Bobby, you want some content? I'll make you some content. All right. Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. We'll be back on Wednesday. That's the 27th of April. So be there or be square. And I want to remind everybody before we get too far here, before everybody turns off their podcast, go to CanaryCry.Supply.Drop.com. We're running that fun promotion for the ARG, the Canary Cry Podcast Companion Code Breakers book. It's going to be fun. It's a good way to just kind of like, I don't know, play a game while you listen to the podcast, listen out for clues. If you're a puzzle type person, it's going to be cool. There's going to be hoping to build kind of a little, a little community around it. And you can get in on it mostly because we just want to get this into the hands of as many people as possible. I mean, we're having so much fun with the supply drop. Turned out really good. I'm so happy to hear all the good feedback, and it's just going to keep getting better. We're already starting our plans for the Q2 supply drop, and we're going to have even more fun with it. And part of the reason there's kind of this drive, this promo drive, is because the more supply droppers we have signed up to the program, the more budget we have to make cooler and cooler things every quarter. So it's my hopes to set a goal I don't have that goal right now. We're still running the numbers, but there will be a goal for new supply drop members before the end of May. And I hope you guys, it's not just about getting cool stuff, but it's also about keeping the show going. The supply droppers, their monthly producerships really saved our butts. We didn't even know World War III was going to start. But if we didn't have them, we would have been in real trouble the past couple months. If you're interested in keeping the show going, becoming a producer, and also becoming a part of the community of people who are receiving these physical items, these physical tokens of Canary Cry News Talk, helping it live on into the future, but also hopefully helping you live on into the future as well with some of our survival stuff we're sending out. Go to CanaryCry.Supply.com. Sign up now. Just do it now. Just do it today, and we'll send you out the Canary Cry code book, and it'll be fun. Okay, so go do that. And I want to thank a couple more of our producers who make this show possible. It's impossible without our producers and with their time, their talent, and their treasure. And I want to take a second and thank our Clippies.
Flippy. Flippy on those videos. Thanks.
Thanks. That's right. Thank you to our clip producers. They clip the show into small bite-sized segments and put them on the Canary Cry Clips channel on YouTube and Odyssey. Go subscribe to that and just watch clips, man, all day long. Share those clips with your friends. Thank you to Emsworth, Faylivern, and Epsilon.
Thank you very much.
Next up, I want to thank the timestampers. It literally goes into most things we do on the back end, and it's very important.
It's hard work. Timestamp.
Thank you to Christine C., I think, for those timestamps. Couldn't do it, cha-cha. Again, one last thing, actually, since this is just sort of a rambling pitch session I'm having. When it comes to the supply droppers, those of you who got your supply drop, tell other Canarians about it. Let them know. Go to bring the stuff to meetups. It's cool stuff to show off at the meetups. Tell the people, other Canarians post it on your Facebook or Twitter. Hopefully not any of those things, but Canary Cry community. Just let them know that it's totally worth it and keeps the show going. Thank you. CanaryCry.Meetups.com.
Canary Cry Meetup.
Meetups are important, man. Fellowship together. Y'all church people know how important it is to fellowship, meet other people where you have things in common. And why not do the same with people you have in common with the show? Not sure if that was right, but you get the point. We have the People Zoom meetup on the third Saturdays. That's gone by this month, but you can plan for next month. We got East Texas meetup coming up this weekend. Yeah, baby. We got to update the meetups page. San Antonio just happened, and there's another San Antonio.
Yes, I was going to say.
San Antonio is just rallying these meetups. So they are having a fun time. We need to get meetup reports from you, San Antonio. I don't know what's going on. Hit me up. Let me know how it went. Also, Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania in July 9th. And wherever you are, go ahead, put on a meetup. There's Canarians all around you. And all it takes is just choosing a time and a date and a place. Let us know about it, and we will put it out there into the world. And it's a good opportunity. So we'll see you all at the meetup.
This is fun.
Go leave ratings and reviews. It's very important. Do it on Apple Podcasts. Do it now. Gonz's grumpy uncle. Oh no, he's coming out of the screen. He's got something to say.
Ugly, horrible person. You must leave review on iTunes. And if you do not, you are ugly, horrible person. You bring shame to family. Ugly, horrible person.
I know. It's crazy. It seems kind of aggressive, but you got to do what he says. That's just kind of the point. But if we get 5 or more reviews every week, you'll make me go, ooh, woo. It means a lot. That's right. Go to Apple Podcasts, search Canary Cry News Talk, subscribe to it, listen to it, enjoy it, but leave a rating and a review. More than all, because it helps the algorithms pick it up, show it to other people. Hundreds of new people every week find the show because of your ratings and reviews. Other than that, produce the show. Oh, I forgot to say that. Oh, yeah, okay, social media, go tweet or whatever, do the thing.
Wow, real encouraging there.
No, I'm sorry. I just haven't been able to put the...
And update everything.
I'm just bummed that I haven't been able to get it ready and stuff. And we keep pitching it, and I'm not ready, and it's not working. I'm sad.
Yeah.
So let me find somebody who tweeted about the show. I'm going to do this, the light in this one again. At the light in this one on Twitter, posting about the show every single episode. Why are you not doing that? Go follow the light in this dark world. The light in this one on Twitter. He deserves it, or she. There you go. Okay. Produce the show with your time, your talent, or your treasure. Lots of ways to do it. You can do it with your art. You can do it with your music. Do it with whatever creative outlet you have, the gifts God has given you. Send it on over to CanaryCry.Radio@gmail.com. We put it on the show. But also, I forgot to thank the financial producers. That's the thing, man, is value for value. The producers of the show are the people providing it for the rest of you. And so every listener should produce the show at least once in their life. Not every listener needs to produce every single show in their life. But if everybody understands and pitches in and realizes that without the support of producers, independent media in general, not just this show, but independent media in general is at risk. And things are heating up in that regard. So I want to thank our executive producer for today's show, and that's Dame Lynn, Lady of the Lakes, of course. Our new supply drop producer, Mitch H. Thank you, Mitch. And the rest of our producers, Kyle C., Christian N., Mom with Sword and Shield, Morv, Sarah S., Puddin22, Sir JC, Night of the Techno Squatch, Alex, Protocol V2, Jonathan F., Gail M., Veronica D., Sir Casey the Shield Knight, Jackie U., Sir Scott, Night of Truth, Sir James, Night of the Servant of the Lion of Judah. Whew. Thank you, guys. And if you want to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/CCNT, or even better, CanaryCryRadio.com/support.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support.
That's right. You know it. Other than that, just share it with your friends. Share it with your mom. Send it to your dad. Mother's Day is coming up, baby. Give her the gift of a clear vision about how the mainstream narrative crafters called the corporate news industry is creating a worldview. It is a form of magic in a way, controlling reality behind their desks. And we're talking about puppet strings. Who's holding their strings? Nobody knows.
Is there an angel in your room, or is it a Satan dressed as an angel of light? There's
the light of the Lord, the light of the Lord shining directly on my camera from my window.
Yeah,
so there's some sort of angelic vibe. So take it as a sign, and go ahead and share the show with somebody. You don't have to do it in any normal way. You could do it in kind of a funky dunky way. You're a unique individual with an eccentric billionaire, and you're wanting to find ways to help the show for some reason. You're not giving us $1 billion, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Laughing at me, or you have a funny joke?
No, I'm laughing at your thing. I'm laughing.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
okay. I'm trying to read these. We've been doing this for a long time, Gonz, and I like to think that I can read your laughs. Sometimes you're just laughing at a tweet you're looking at, totally unrelated. Sometimes you're laughing at a thought that you had. Sometimes, once in a while, once in a blue moon, you'll laugh at something I say, and those are nice times. So anyways, yes, you out there, dear eccentric billionaire listener, you don't believe in producing the show for some reason, but you can help the show out in other ways. We've already discussed how you're going to purchase a boat, a bigger boat than Bob Swan. That's one thing you billionaires love, is getting a bigger boat than the other guy. And so now's your chance. You get the big boat. You call it the Swan Killer.
The Swan Song. No,
I was going to say the Swan, the Sloung.
Careful.
The Swan Smasher. Okay. You got the Swan Smasher. And we're going to take that Swan Smasher down to the Antarctic. We're going to find Bob Swan's boat. We're going to pull up right next to him.
Slayer.
Swan Slayer. He's going to have a bunch of cold, shivering influencers with long acrylic nails and hair blowing in the wind, and a drop of rain will fall, and it'll be a proof that climate change exists. And then up comes the Swan Slayer. Bonk, bonk. And our bigger boat will come up next to him, and there's just a single man. A single lone warrior standing on the Lido deck with a plate full of ribs from the buffet, baby. And in his other hand is a microphone. And on his head are two giant googly eyes. And we need to pull up to the Swan Mobile because they've got good internet. We need to connect to their Wi-Fi. So we're going to poach their Wi-Fi and do some long form content, baby, about Antarctica, revealing the truth, not just the Nazi bases or the Nephilim penguins or the shimmer or the giant spiders or the colonization of ideology and the victimhood of Antarctica being used by the elite culture wars. No. But we'll also be telling the truth about the space lasers, baby, the space lasers and the whales. I don't know. I do want to see those whales. I get it now. I mean, whales are beautiful creatures. So I'll devote a whole section of that podcast to me, human on land, whale in water, beautiful water. And then you'll be there. You're the captain, of course, dear listener, and you're up in the bridge there, and you're cranking knobs and blowing on tubes and whatever. I don't know how boats work, but you're making it work, baby, and we're doing it together, and you'll be an executive producer. That's how you're going to do it. And, unlike that ship full of influencers, people will pay attention because when one billionaire has a bigger boat than another billionaire, that is newsworthy. And so we'll make some headlines, make some waves, if you will, and tell the truth about Antarctica. People will be like, wow, what's that giant thing on the front of that boat? And it'll be me in a giant mech robot shaped like a canary. And I will be just telling people about the show. That's it. And then the whole world will wake up to the fact that the world is not what it seems, and that the corporate news media has profit, motive, and incentive to continue to create an illusion that keeps most of humanity in some sort of sleepwalking state. But that'll all end once the Swan Slayer is here. That's just one way to do it. You don't got to do it that way, but if you're just looking for a way to switch it up, but whatever you do, just remember, we like to call it rattling cages, and all you got to do is walk right up to him, grab him by the cage? Yeah, the cage, and then you shake it.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right, just ask Noah. I forgot about what is it called? The rectal thermometer? Rectometer?
Rectenna.
Rectenna, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Anyways, we'll get a bigger rectenna on the Swan Slayer.
Great. Yeah.
All right, any last words, Gonz?
I have like the when you are so tired and you laugh and you get tears in your eyes, not because everything is it's just like you're tired. That's why I got.
It's also sad.
I have tears in my eyes at this point. Just the episode 476, folks. When Gonz broke down, he just
finally lost it. Finally brought him to tears. That's drama. Tears. That's what we need on the deck of the.
Just the giant hologram of my hollow port me crying in a room.
We'll
I'll be somewhere else.
We'll hologram Skype you in. All right, okay. We gotta get out of here.
Yeah,
here we go. Yeah. Thanks everybody for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune into it next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
I like Terminator.
cosmos, children in the space plane.
I'm an adult in a spaceship.
Supersonic space plane screamed to life and the vehicle swooped upward on board. The passengers experienced a 3 Gs of force from the burst of extreme acceleration and watched the blue sky fade into space.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Oh, yeah.
In the back have been cleared to unstrap.
Yes. Do it, Richard. Do it, Jeff. Do it for humanity.
To all you kids down there, I was once a child with a dream. Now I'm an adult in a spaceship.
He can accomplish it. You can too. Big windows, cool. Rocket ship, cool. Space plane, cool.
Nukes,
cool.
Blowing stuff up,
cool. Space plane, astronaut, rocket ship.
Previous anchor,
we're all gonna die. He's a human. Just look at him. Go to the bathroom in bags. He can go to the bathroom in the cosmos. It changed everything. Wives in space, children in the cosmos, with your best friend brother. Wives in the cosmos, children in the space plane.
We are headed to space.
Can I tell you a sort of a twisted pleasure that I have?
It's okay. No.
Clearing out that lint trap. Clearing out that lint trap. Clearing out that lint trap. Clearing out that lint. Clearing out that lint trap. Clearing out that lint trap. Clearing out that lint trap.
It takes time. A lint catcher.
I love it, man.
Hey, you gotta clean this out. I was like, a lint catcher. It's a great reset. A lint catcher.
I love it, man.
Hey, you gotta clean this out. A lint catcher.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
I love peeling off that big old lint trap, rolling it into a ball, peeling off that big old lint trap, just like throwing it in the trash, really. Should I be saving this?
No.
You could knit it into a scarf or something?
No.
Surely. It's very soft.
No.
This would make really good fire starter. You are a weird prepper. Hoarder. Like a weird guy, man. Weird prepper. Not normal, like a weird guy, man. Clearing out that lint trap.
No.
Clearing out that lint trap. Clearing out that lint trap. That lint trap. I know it's gross, folks.
A lint catcher.
I love it, man.
Hey, you gotta clean this out. I was like, a lint catcher. It's a great reset. A lint catcher.
I love it, man.
Hey, you gotta clean this out. A lint catcher.
I love that. I'm constantly having to remind myself, wear a pink shirt for the show. Constantly having to remind myself, save the dryer lint, use it as fire starter, knit a scarf, save the dryer lint.
Carried Jonah, and it spit him out on dry land. Then the word of the Lord came to Jonah for a second time, and said, Arise, go to Nineveh, and call out against it. So Jonah went according to the word of the Lord. And as he entered the city, he proclaimed, In 40 days Nineveh shall be judged for its sin. The people of Nineveh believed the word of God. And when the word reached the king, he issued a proclamation throughout the whole kingdom. By decree of the king, let neither man nor beast taste anything. Let them not eat food or drink water, but turn from your evil ways and pray that God may have compassion and turn from his wrath. When God saw how they turned from their evil way, God relented, and he did not bring disaster upon the city. This upset Jonah, so he cried out to the Lord and said, "This is why I tried to flee from the beginning. For I know that you are a gracious God, slow to anger and abounding in love. Now please, Lord, take my life from me, for I rather die than live." And the Lord said to Jonah, "Do you enjoy being angry?" After this, Jonah traveled east and made a tent for himself there to see what would become of Nineveh. And God brought forth a tree over Jonah, that it might serve as shade to comfort him. But when dawn came, a worm entered the tree, and it withered. As the sun rose, the heat came down on Jonah, and it exhausted him. So Jonah prayed again, saying, "I'd rather die, O Lord, than to live like this." But God said to Jonah, "You have compassion for a plant which you did not labor for, nor did you make it grow. It was made in a night, and it has perished in a night. Likewise, I will have compassion for Nineveh, that great city, in which there are countless people who do not even know good from evil."
In the future, humans will be confined in a people's zoo.
I'll keep you safe and warm in my people's zoo. I'll keep you safe and warm now in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you in my people's zoo. I'll keep the cameras on.
Give me a break.
You're fat and sassy in my people's zoo. I'll make you fat and sassy in my people's zoo. You, yeah, you. You, yeah, you. You, yeah, you. In my people's zoo.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people's zoo.
Do not come back, you Nazi psychopaths.
CanaryCry.Radio.com/support